naye mbalayirire your candidates for Hague.
Katukomewo tano.
Sights and Sounds is brought to you.
We went to the movies. I forgot my wallet, but my brother sent me money.
I pretended not to notice.
Every day was a celebration.
Sights and Sounds is brought to you.
We went to the movies. I forgot my wallet, but my brother sent me money.
I pretended not to notice.
Every day was a celebration.
NTV, turning on your world.
Muli ku NTV akaddekeko ka NTV akawungezi mbaniriza nnyo ku nnaku z'omwezi 3 omwezi gwe twakatandika ogwa July. Nze Farida Nakaziwe katsoke tufune ebikulu ebiri mu galeero.
So kituufu amawulire twagafunye nga bagamba nti baagala kuba ebifo ebyo nga airport n'ebirala biboogeddeko.
Ekitebe ky'Amerika kuno kirabuddwako butujju. Waliwo abeewerera okulumba ekisaawe ky'ennyonyi Entebbe. Ebyokwerinda binywezeddwa.
Nti naffe tuyinza okugenda mu engenda eringa eya munnaffe bwe yafaamu.
Abaali abawembule balaajana bagamba obulamu bwabwe buli mu matigga. Poliisi ebasabye babikwate mpola.
Baba Nigeria babanona, bana Kenya babanona, abensi endala banona abantu baabwe.
Enjaga e China ab'enganda bawanjagidde gavumenti ku bantu baabwe abalindiridde okuttibwa.
Nga kino ekibira kyalekebwawo okukuumira mu bisolo bya mu nsiko.
Songa 6 bakwatiddwa eyiganga mu kaweefube w'okulwanyisa okusanyawo obutonde bw'ensi. oli ku NTV akawungezi nze Farida Nakazibwe. Oluvannyuma lwa bannayuganda babiri okukwatibwa okuwanikibwa ku kalabba e China olw'okusingisibwa emisango gy'okukusa enjaga wakyaliwo abalala bangi abalindiridde okuttibwa mu ngeri y'emu. Abantu bano abali mu bataano ab'enganda zaabwe wano mu Uganda emitima gibeewanise. Mu bano kuliko George William Nsubuga ow'emyaka 25 gyokka amaze mu kkomera emyaka 3 nga kati alindiridde essaawa ye envannyuma. Ab'enganda ze batutegeezezza nga gavumenti bwetafiiriddeyo ddala kununula bannayuganda bano.
Omaddamulira ne Ham Andrew Ngobi bo kati bagenzi abo be bannayuganda abasoose okuwanikibwa kalabba e China omwaka guno. Wakyaliyo bannaabwe abalala kumpi 30 abali mu ssaawa zaabwe ezisembayo mu bulamu singa Katonda abatababisseeko kasubi. George William Nsubuga nga wa myaka 25 gyokka y'omu ku bannayuganda abo abakeesa olukya ng'enkoko y'omutamiivu. Ono yagenda e China emyaka 3 emabega nga yakatuula ekibiina kya siniya ey'omukaaga okusisinkana omu ku bannyina eyali amufuniddeyo ebyokukola. Twasisinkanye nnyina Olivia Kagero ow'emyaka 48 mu kabuga k'Esseeta ku njegoyego z'ekibuga Kampala gy'awangaalira n'atunyumiza engeri mutabani we gy'agwamu mu ttabbu.
Ne mugamba nti ani akwise nti ogenda kukola ki nti Marion ampise. Yagenda kunoonyeza ekyokukola.
Olw'omukwano gw'alina eri Nsubuga atera n'akumweyitira muzeeyi wabula agamba nti ekyamutuukako yennaku ye gy'akyasinze okulaba bukyatonnya ku nsi.
Singa kyesiyinza kubuulira ng'omuzadde kuba mwana wange ate mukwano gwange.
Muzeeyi eyamuwa enjaga gw'amanyi obulungi wabula ng'akyatidde okumwatulira nnyina yamusanga mu ggwanga lya Malaysia asobole okugimwongererayo China. Ekinakuwaza Olivia yalina essuubi lingi mu muzeeyi era wano mu kaduuka ke wanoonyeza 10 alina ebifaananyi bitamuva ku lusegere kubanga bimujjukiza bingi. Kyamutwalira emyezi 6 okuzuula nti omwagalwa we mukwate. Buli mwezi afuna omukisa okwogerako naye okumala eddakiika 3 zokka. Olivia agamba nti gavumenti ensonga z'okununula mutabani we ne bannayuganda abalala ezikutte kasoobo kubanga ne mu kkooti taba na looya yadde omuntu ayinza okumuvuunulira ebyogerwa.
Gavumenti yokka yerina otuyamba otutaasa. Oba Abanigeria babanona, Bannakenya babanona, ab'ensi endala banona abantu baabwe.
Emu ku ssimu ezaasembayo okukubibwa omukungu wa Uganda China Paul Mukumbya yalaga nti omugenzi Andrew Ngobi ebigambo omulamuzi be yeeyambisa okumusindika kalabba teyabitegeera.
Mugambye oluvannyuma ng'amategeera bulungi ne mugamba mu Luganda tebagenda kumutta.
Amaka ge tegalekeddwa mu nnyiike yokka wabula n'okutabulwa kubanga Ngobi yabadde alabirira nnyina, muwala we ne mukulu we.
Kyenegayira omuntu yenna agenda okundaba obuyambi bwengenda osooka okukusaba oba olina emutima ogulumirirwa oba mulambo gwennyini ekagudde.
Lwaki Abachina oba abasaba ebweru oba babeera muno fe tubatwala bulungi tetubatuguunya tetukola ki naye abantu baffe lwaki bagenda ebweru bo babonaabona okufa obufi.
Minisitule y'ensonga z'amawanga amalala yatutegeezezza nga gavumenti bwetalina nsimbi zikomyawo Vulya Ngobi kuziikibwa bantu be okuggyako nga beesonze ensimbi bo ze bagamba nti tebazirina.
Kuba ffe batugamba okumuleeta tulina busobozi oba ne ziwera omwana zaabuze kati zijjayo omulambo e China tuzijjawo.
Ebibuuzo bingi ebikyafumita emitima gy'Abannayuganda abalina abantu abaasibibwa e China wabula ekikulu mu byo lwaki amawanga amalala nga Nigeria ne Kenya gasobodde okulwanirira era ne gazza bannansi baago abali e China yo Uganda n'eremererwa. Solomon Kawesa, NTV akawungeezi.
Webale nnyo Solomon Kawesa. China n'okutuusa olwaleero abantu betta mu makomera omuwendo gwabwe bagukuuma nga gwakyama obutasasamaza nsi naye nga battibwa bali eyo mu 10 buli mwaka. Ensi endala ezisinga okuwa ekibonerezo ekyokutta kuliko Iran, Iraq, Pakistan ne America. Okutuuka mu 1997 mu China enzite yali esinga yali ya kutuga oba okukuba amasasi okutuusa lwe bayongerako okuba empiso ey'obutwa ne ku mmotoka ez'enjawulo omuttirwa abantu nga tebatawaanye kubatambuza ngendo mpanvu.
China yemu ku nsi eziteguye abantu tekimanyiddwa oba lwakuba ng'abantu abaliyo bangi. Kyandibanga abantu abali wakati w'15,000 n'akakaaga be battibwa buli mwaka e China, weewaawo ng'ekitongole ekiramuzi kiraga nti balinga mu 5,000. Ekibonerezo kino kiweebwa abakoze emisango egiyitibwa egya nnaggumula wadde nga kiweebwa n'abakukusa enjaayi n'ebiragala ebirala. Emisango egiyinza okuweesa omuntu ekibonerezo eky'okufa giri 55 awamu. Ekitiibwa, emirimu gy'okoledde eggwanga n'ebirala ebifaananako ng'ebyo e China tebikweyimirira bw'osalirwa okuttibwa. Juzi mu 2006 Nagaga Yuan Bojing eyali nannyini Jihao Group era yatandika enkola ey'okuyamba abayizi okusomera ku ssente ze oba scholarship esinga obunene mu China yattibwa. Yakubwa ekiyiisa eky'obuto mu mmotoka ekozesebwa ng'ettambiro era ng'ogwamusinga gwa kutuma muntu amutira omusajja omu eyamufiiriza obukadde bwa $13. Mu 2007 Zeng Ziao era yakulira ekitongole ky'emmere n'eddagala yakubwa ekiyiiso mu mmotoka y'emu lwa kulya nguzi n'akkiriza eddagala ery'ebicupuli okuyingira mu China. Abasibe abalala bakubwa amasasi mu kifo kyonna ekiba kirondeddwa ab'obuyinza mu kitundu kkooti gye yasalira omusango. Enzita yaabwe teteeka kitiibwa mu muntu emirundi egisinga kubanga bakikola baba banguya kukola ku muntu mulala. Akubiddwa essasi limukubwa emabega w'omutwe. Abamu baziikibwa, abalala babookya nga bwe bakoze bannayuganda 2. Ebigambo China byetakkirizanga oba okwegaana biraga nti abamakomera abamu bwe bamala okutta omuntu ate nga bamubamu ebitundu ebyomugaso ng'ensigo ne babitunda eri ababyetaaga ku mitwalo n'emitwalo gya $. Olupapula lwa New York Times lwakola eggulire mu 2001 ku musajja Kwi eyatibwa olw'obutaba musolo nga muganda wannyonnyola nti alaba omulambo gwa Kwi nga bagutwala okugwokya ng'olubuto balusaze ne balubikkula nga kiraga balina kye baggyeemu so nga yakubwa ssasi emabega mu mutwe. Ekikubye omuntu essasi erimu lyokka emabega mu mutwe kigambibwa baba tebaagala mubiri gwe kwonooneka mangu nga tebanajja mu bitundu bye baagala. Ebyogero ebirala China byetekakasa oba okwegaana biraga nti famire y'omuntu attiddwa bw'aba munnansi wa China esasulira essasi eryassa omuntu oyo ekintu ekyongera okunyolwa mu booluganda. Ebikwata ku kibonerezo ky'okuttibwa China ebisinga gavumenti ebyesigaliza ng'ekyama naye ng'ebitono ebiwulirwa n'ebirabwako bya ntiisa si eri abachina bokka naye n'ensi kubanga kyangu okukwatibwa China mu kaseera mpawe kaaga kkooti n'ekusalira ogw'okufa nga n'abantu bo tebamanyi.
Oliko NTV akawungezi tukuzaayo ku ggulire lyaffe ekkulu erya poliisi ekakasizza nti efunye amawulire agategeeza ng'abatujju bwe beesomye okulumba ekisaawe ky'ennyonyi ekikulu Entebbe n'ebitundu by'ekibuga Kampala. Obulumbaganyi buno batiisatiisizza kubukola mu kiro kya leero. Okulabula kuno ab'ebyokwerinda bakututte nga kukulu era poliisi wamu n'amagye bakedde kwaza paaka za bbaasi zonna mu Kampala okulaba oba abantu bagoberera ebiragiro bye bazze baweebwa. Tukitegeddeko nti ne ku kisaawe Entebbe obwerinde bw'amaanyi.
Okusinziira ku kiwandiiko okuva ku kitebe ky'Amerika kuno baliko okulabula ku babadde bannansi b'eggwanga eryo omuli okwekenneenya entambula zaabwe naddala nga bakozesa ekisaawe ky'ennyonyi Entebbe. Okusinziira ku kiwandiiko waliwo ekibinja ky'abatujju ekitannamanyibwa ekyeweze okukola obutujju ku kisaawe ky'ennyonyi Entebbe ng'obulumbaganyi buno busuubirwa okukolebwa wakati w'essaawa 3 ne 5 mu kiro kya leero. Poliisi bwe twogeddeko nayo ekakasizza amawulire g'okulumba ekisaawe ky'ennyonyi eky'Entebbe.
Ago era amawulire tugafunye era nga bulijjo bwe tufuna amawulire amalala gonna mu n'okutiisibwatiisibwa okubaawo naye ekisinga obukulu nti amawulire ago gatutuukako ffe tugatwala nga kikulu nnyo nga tukikozesa ng'ekiyinza okutuyamba okusobola okuziyiza.
Abamerika okusinziira ku kulabulwa okubaweereddwa bategeezeddwa okubeera ku bwerinde naddala mu bifo gye batambulira okwewala ebivulu ebitali bimu mu ggwanga k'okwekenneenya abantu be baba tebamanyi. Okulabula kuno ne bannayuganda tebakututte ng'okwolusaago. Nga bajjukira ebyaliwo mu mwezi gw'omusanvu mu mwaka gwa 2010 bannayuganda abasoba mu 7 mwe baafiira abakulira ebyokwerinda omuli ekitongole kya JAT Counter Terrorism basazeewo okwaza ebifo ebitali bimu mu kibuga Kampala.
Ebitundu nga bino ebyakazibwako erya downtown bimanyiddwa okubamu omujjuzo gw'abantu. Kino nno kisobola okuwa omwaganya omutujju yenna okuyisaawo ekyokulwanyisa kye okutuukiriza ebigendererwa bye. Eno ensonga lwaki olwaleero ab'ebyokwerinda ebyenjawulo bagasazeewo okulaba nti bakuba wano amakanda.
Ebifo omuli paaka ya bbaasi ey'okukisaawe ky'ennakivubo abaserikale babadde mu keetalo okulaba nga tewali kitereke kye bayitako nga tebakyazizza nga kuno kw'otadde n'abantu. Ku paaka ya bbaasi y'omu Kisenyi nayo embeera ebadde ya bwerinde nga basirikale baaza buli ayingira. Ebizimbe ebyetoolodde ebifo bino nabyo bibaddeko bakomando okuttaanya omulimu ogubadde kugenda mu maaso. Poliisi etegeezezza nti okusinziira ku ebyo ebibadde mu ggwanga lya Kenya gye buvuddeko ng'eno obulumbaganyi okusinga bubadde bukolebwa mu zibbaasi ko obutale y'ensonga lwaki tebaagadde kubuusa bifo bino maaso.
Twagadde tugende ku bifo ebyo kuba biriso vulnerable byebimu ku byebiyinza okulumbibwa essaawa yonna tube nti tulaga abantu baffe engeri y'okukolamu ebintu bino.
Yamyuka omubaka wa pulezidenti mu Kampala Alan Kaji asabye bannakampala okuba bakkakkamu ku bikoleddwa olwaleero kubanga bigendereddwa mu kukakasa nti bali bulungi.
So it is part of the outreach that we are going to continue to do to awaken the public on being vigilant about the fight against terrorism.
Okulabula kuno we kujjidde ng'ebuli ebbanga lya ssabbiiti emu okwera emyaka ena bukya zikuba abantu abasoba mu 7 mu Kampala bwe bali balaba empaka z'omupiira gwa World Cup ez'akamalirizo. Julius Senkandwa, NTV.
NTV akawungezi we bali nnyo Julius Senkandwa. 11 zeziise ku ssaawa emu tugenda kuwummulamu katono nnyo.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jesus came to set you free and to be free indeed.
In life, you don't wait. Yeah. There are certain times where you wait for certain decisions, but when it comes to taking action and choices, you have to move.
Jesus Christ found me, and he actually asked me a question, whether I wanted to live or to die.
Every day of my life was struggling. It's just that God has given me this kind of hope.
GXP every Sunday only on NTV, your official inspiration station.
This is Africa in 2050. The population will have expanded more than twice the number today. To have better management of the population, we will need to invest in education, invest in health, invest in the economy, and have better governance. Broadcasting live, UNFPA brings you a debate on the future of East Africa's demographic dividend on Friday at 2 p.m. on NTV.
Having broken the hunger story in Napak, we appeal to the general public to contribute towards the Feed Napak initiative. Kindly donate items like clothes, food, shoes and other items to support our vulnerable brothers and sisters in Napak District, Karamoja. Kindly bring your donated items to the Uganda National Theatre from the 2nd to 30th June 2014 or send your mobile money contribution to Winnie Banage on MTN 0772 121986. For more information, call Diana on 0791 162357. We can do great things with great love.
NTV akawungezi ekyagenda maaso mawulire amalala abasajja abakolanga ebikwekweto mu bitongole bya poliisi ebyayatiikirira ennyo omuli Wembule, VCCU ne RRU balajana bagamba nti obulamu bwabwe buli mu matiga oluvannyuma lwa poliisi okubagoba ku mirimu awatali kubawa nsonga ematiza. Bano bategeezezza nti bangi ku bannaabwe bwe baakolanga ennaku zino battibwa nga n'abamu bali mu kutya nti bandirumbibwa abamu ku bantu be bakwatiranga mu bikwekweto ebingi bye baakola emabegako.
Ku ntandikwa y'omwezi oguwedde, Sebagala Abdu omu ku baakola ennyo mu bikwekweto okuli ekya Wembule, VCCU ne RRU yakubwa amasasi bwe yali ava ku mulimu ng'adda waka. Sekajigo Godfrey n'omulala ategerekese akalungi nabo bakubwa amasasi era nga bali bakozi mu bitongole biwaggulu. Mu mwaka gwa 2010 ekitongole kya RRU kyayimirizibwa ku mirimu era abaali bakikolamu ne baweebwa ebbaluwa ebalabula obutabaako kye bakola mu linnya ly'ekitongole ekyo oba erinnya lya poliisi. Wabula abamu ku baali abakozi mu bitongole bino na buli kati beemulugunya nga bagamba nti engeri poliisi gye bakwatamu ku nkoona teyali n'ensimbo. Bogeraageranya n'ebirungi bye baagikolera omuli okukwata amenyi b'amateeka ssaako n'okuzuula emmundu ze bagamba nti zaali zisoba mu 1000.
Twali basalale waaka nga tukolerwa tusasulwa musaala okuva ku poliisi nga tuli ku payroll. Nekyatubuukako abantu twakyewuunyisa okulaba nti baatuwummuza nga tetubatuwadde na bbaluwa nawe gamba nti gwa mulimu guweddewo.
Ebyokwerinda bya bano bagamba nti biri mu lusuubo olw'ensonga nti bakwata amenyi b'amateeka bangi omuli n'abo abaalina emmuntu nga bamu ku bano bamalayo dde ekibonerezo kyabwe bali wabweru balya butaala era ng'essaawa yonna bandi balumba ne batuusaako obulabe.
Ebbanga ddene lye tumaze nga tukwata abasajja ab'obulabe ab'omutawana gavumenti bemanyidde ddala obulungi be twasanga n'emmundu 2, 3, 4 twabakwatira ebbanga twabakwatiranga ne batwalibwa mu makooti ne bateekebwa mu makomera kati bateereddwa basinga bali bweru. Gavumenti efuddeyo okutunuulira bulamu bwaffe ku basajja abo. Abasajja batumanyi bulungi nnyo gye tuvudde waabwe batumanyi, ffe tubali tubakwata, ffe tubali tubateeka mu mbeera basesema emmundu ze tubaggyeko naye tubali tulowooza kati mu budde buno security yonna bakama baffe bantunuulidde obulamu bwaffe buli ludda wa.
Bano ab'emulugunya bagamba nti poliisi bwe yasazaamu kontrakiti zaabwe yabalagira obutaddamu kukola wabula nga tebaaweebwa yadde akasente kwe bayinza okutandikira okutambuza obulamu nga bagamba nti beegubye ku ofiisi z'abakulira poliisi nga tebayambibwa nga n'olwaleero batuuseewo ku kitebe kya poliisi ekikola kunoonyereza ku bumenyi bw'amateeka ekibuli nga baagala kulaba akwira okunoonyereza ku misango wabula tebakkiriziddwa kwenyonyolako.
Atunnyonnyole na lwaki tusasulwa ng'ate twakolera gavumenti okumala emyaka 8 ne tukwata emmundu eziwera emitwalo kumpi 10 wano mu Uganda.
Omwogezi wa poliisi mu Kampala n'Emiriraano Patrick Onyango gwe tufunye ku lukomo lw'essimu ategeezezza nti ensonga y'abaana gimanyiiko wabula nga basaanidde okuwandiikira bekikwatako mu butongole.
Kati director bali tasobola okusinkana ne bannamawulire ate nga ye bale tamanyi wadde bagenda kusinkana ku nsonga ki bakomewo nga balina ekiwandiko oba nga ekiwandiko gyeba like the prepared petition gyeba petitioninga director.
Patrick Mukasa, NTV Akawungezi.
Webale nnyo Patrick Mukasa. Mu birala bannayuganda balabuddwa obuteetantala kugenda mu mawanga agalimu obulwadde bwa Ebola. Omwafiiridde ne Dr. Munnayuganda Muhumuza Mutoro. Gye buvuddeko obulwadde bwa Ebola obugambibwa okuba obukambwe ennyo ku obwo bwalumba Uganda bwabalukawo mu ggwanga lya Liberia, erya Guinea n'erya Sierra Leone. Wetwogerera ng'abantu abakakwatibwa bali 759 era nga 467 ku bo bafudde dda. Minisitule y'ebyobulamu egumizza bannayuganda nga bwe watali muntu yenna wano yakwatiddwa kirwadde ky'Ebola.
Wabaddewo obweraliikirivu eri bannayuganda okuva ku okufa kwa Dr. Munnayuganda eyafiiridde Liberia ng'era ekyamuviiriddeko okufa ky'ekirwadde kya Ebola. Amawulire gano bwe gatuuse mu ggwanga bannayuganda abamu baatidde ne batandika okugamba nti wandibadde awo osanga ekirwadde kino kitutuuseeko. Naye twagala okutegeeza eggwanga lyonna nti nno mu Uganda okuva mu mwaka gw'2012 mu Novemba tetufunangayo keesi yonna ey'obulwadde bw'Ebola. Twagala okukakasa bannayuganda nti embeera yonna eri mu nteeko era nga minisitule y'obulamu tugenda mu maaso okukola kyonna ekyetaagisa okulaba nti nno obulwadde buno tebututuukako mu Uganda. Abantu bonna abayingira mu ggwanga nga bavudde mu countries ezo eziri affected n'ekirwadde kino. Twagala abantu bano bascreeningibwe kubanga bayinza okuba nga bali potential, bayinza okuba nga bayinza okuleeta obulwadde wano mu ggwanga. Tukubiriza abantu bonna abagenda okutambula nga bagenda mu ezo countries eziri affected nti nno senga tebalina kyamaanyi nnyo ekibatwala mu ezo countries tebagenda okujjako nga ekirwadde kino kiri contained.
Rukia Nakamate yayogerera Ministry y'ebyobulamu. Mu birala abantu 6 bakwatiddwa mu kikwekweto ekikoleddwa e Iganga. Bano be bamu ku bamazzeewo ekibira ky'e Bukaleba nga bakitemamu emiti okwokya amanda. Abakungu okuva mu kitongole ky'ebibira olunaku lwajjo beesoze ekibira kino ne bagwa ekiyiifuyiifu ku bantu abakikoleramu mu ngeri emenya amateeka. Bano basangiddwa bookya amanda.
Ebitundu kumpi 6 ku 10 eby'ekibira kino eky'e Bukaleba mye. Abantu okuva e Bukatube n'ebyalo ebirala ebiriraanyeewo bakitemyemu emiti okwokya amanda ko n'okulimiramu ebirime eby'enjawulo.
Kino ekibira bakirekawo olw'omugaso gwakyo nga kirimu emiti ediri kankuba emiti edekinansi debeta indigenous trees nga edekidada emiti negiri almost mu East Africa wonka n'omuli gino emiti bino ebika bino eby'emiti nga gyebeta emisaali emiti n'ebika ebindi.
Emiti gyokka si gye gikoseddwa. Ebisolo nabyo ebyabeeranga mu kibira kino byaddukamu dda nga tebikyalina we bibeera. Poliisi ng'eri wamu n'abakungu b'ebyebibira mu Busoga olunaku lwa jjo bakoze ekikwekweto mu kibira kino okukwata abantu abakoleramu emirimu egy'enjawulo mu ngeri ekyeyononere.
Singa gavumenti kisoboike tulumukirire ekibira kino kibeewo okuba kyo obulambuzi kirungi ino nga ku disitulikiti yaffe y'e Mayuge.
Omuntu abonabona abalikolerayo baveeyo nga yetunaaba tugemyeku ng'alikolera mu kibira kino emirimu gye tuyidamugema tumugemye emikono ed'ekyuma tumutwale paka mu kooti.
Ekibira kino ekiri ku lubalama lw'ennyanja Nalubaale kye kimu ku bifo ab'obuyinza mu Busoga kye baagala okukulaakulanya kifuuke eky'obulambuzi.
NTV akawungeza omusaayi guyise Mubende abakozi b'omugagga omu nannyini ettaka erikayanirwa okukwata ebisi ne balumba ebyalo. Bano beekalisizza era okukakana ng'abantu 6 batemeddwa ebiso. Ate Bukuya mu disitulikiti y'e Mubende abazigu balumbi amaka ne batematema Ssemaka nabo mu maka g'ebiso ebibalesenga bapocha.
Ebyalo ebirumbiddwa kuliko Butolo, Nakasozi n'Ekyedikyo nga byonna bisangibwa mu ggombolola y'e Madudu e Mubende. Okusinziira ku batuuze zibadde essaawa nga 4 ez'okumakya ne balengera abakozi b'omusajja ategeerekeseko erya Kimera nga bakwataganye n'ebissi okuli ebiso, enkumbi, obusaale n'ensuuluulu nga boolekera gye bali.
Kyembakoze babaze mangu abasajja munangerengera abasajja bevaamu gye bankoze n'abaana bange n'enju yange ne bajooja kati simanya abaana bange engeri gye balimu.
Ngenze ko abasajja befaamu bafulumye wali esenta yonna n'edduka kubanga buli gwe badde basanga badde bagambye bagira ki kati tusanga omusajja tumuta
kati baze nga banoonya buli musajja waali batemule omutwe gwokka ne mbagamba banange mudduke.
Bano tebakomye okwo boonoonya ebintu ebirala omubadde okuteekera ennyumba omuliro n'ebirime. Kigambibwa nti abakozi balagirwa mukama waabwe okusengula abantu ku ttaka lino asobole okusimbako emiti wabula abatuuze berema nga baagala omugagga asooka abaliyirire.
Kaakati abatuuze wano tuli bubi era abasinga tetusula mu nju ffe tukola tuli bakozi bwe butuuka budde bwa kiro tufuna we twekukuma.
Akulira poliisi e Madudu Peter Oyeti agamba nti tewali yakwatiddwa ku fujjo lino wabula nga bagenda kunoonyereza.
I also organized myself with my personnel here. We rushed from this side of Chedicho, for them they took the side of Nalawonda.
Mu buufu bwe bumu abazigu e Mubende era balumbye amaka ne batematema Ssemaka nabo mu maka g'ebiso. Amaka galumbiddwa ga Emmanuel Lukwago omutuuze mu katawuni k'e Bukuya nga babbi olwagudde oluggi ne batandika okubapeeka ensimbi. Olwazibamye ne batandika okubatematema ebiso era badduukiriza abawulidde enduulu be babataasizza.
Ensanga bange nga bamutta nange kwe kukwata ejjambiya okwetaasa omubbi n'annuma olugalo.
Lukwago bamutemye ebiso mu mugongo, ku mutwe n'embulago, ate mukyala we ne bamutematema ku bisambi ne mu mugongo, sako n'abaana be batemye mu kifuba ne mu mugongo.
Kati bwebatusaba batusaba ssente kagala tulina ssente batana kufumutakaso.
IGP Mr. Kayihura Ssebo oveeyo oje olabe polisi y'e Bukuya kubanga polisi y'e Bukuya tekyakolera mu biragiro byayo nga yo.
Lukwago ne mukyala we bo tubasanze bajjanjabibwa mu ddwaliro lya gavumenti ery'e Bukuya.
NTV akawungeza eddakiika 26 eziyiseeko tugenda kuwummulamu naye katusooke tulabe akatale k'ensimbi kayimiridde kati awo okwetooloola ekibuga Kampala. Akatale k'ensimbi kakutuusibwako
Invest, Reap, Grow. ICEA Asset Management. Profile of Stability. Grow your wealth with ICEA Asset Management. Invest wisely with our unit trust fund that offers individual investors, companies, groups and associations a chance to pool funds together for a minimum contribution of 100,000 shillings. ICEA Asset Management. Profile of Stability.
NTV, turning on your world.
Sometimes children have amazing ideas, but they can lead to tough stains. And for tough stains, there's new Omo Fast Action. Its super fast cleaning technology removes stains fast. New Omo, no one removes tough stains faster.
Program Guide is brought to you by
Jessa Smooth Yogurt.
Program Guide.
Jessa Smooth Yogurt comes in various flavors like vanilla, strawberry and banana. Jessa Farm Dairy. Always trusted, always delicious.
Today's highlight with
Nice and Lovely Body Lotion.
I know you very well. Don't pretend. You're capable of that and more.
I want her out of here now! What is this slut doing here?
Macario, buddy?
Damn traitor.
What could be so big that could change everything between us? Understand, Inez, outside of this place, I can't stand you. You are intolerable.
When did you become a prostitute?
You bring out the best in me. New and improved Nice and Lovely Body Lotion. The 24-hour skin moisturizer that's your skin's best friend. The best in me.
And the change of government won't stop a thing. I've run out of fingers counting the number of multinationals setting up here. What about the 3 companies that announced their plans to launch last week? I say they're shortly. Me, I'd be looking to sell. At what price? More. Much, much more. I don't know who you are or how you know these things, but one thing I'm sure of, you're in the wrong job. Here, call me tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning. I'd like to hear more from you.
Are you ready for your big break? The East African, understanding the region.
You're watching Morning at NTV.
Men die for 2 diametrically opposed reasons: when they value what they are looking for and when there's nothing worth looking for. But one thing for sure, this is going to be the most valuable 2 hours of your week. Morning at NTV starts live from the Kampala Serena Hotel rooftop. My name is Brian Mlondo and welcome to the show. Mabel Kebenunji is at the NTV studios at the International Conference Center. Joel and Dakaba Isma Chigongo are also here to make sure that indeed we are thanking God It's a Friday. Roll call, ladies and gentlemen, to all of our ardent viewers. Let's get started with the question of the day. That's right, head over to our Facebook page, Morning at NTV. Twitter is also open at Morning at NTV. Tag us at MBGolto, at Mebkeb, at Joel Senyonyi, at NTV Uganda. And of course, use the SMS line also, 6565. Send your answer. The first 5 respondents, you walk away with a mark for Morning at NTV. Enjoy a beautiful coffee in the morning. I know some people are already at work to make sure they are done by about 1 p.m. Good for you. The rest of us, let's join Mabel with the stories that are shaping the headlines. Good morning, Mabel.
Hi, and to all our American friends out there, we do wish you a happy Independence Day. Well, we'll continue with the news. The U.S. Embassy in Kampala has warned of a specific threat by an unknown group that is said to attack Entebbe International Airport. The police confirmed the threat, which warns of a possible attack between 9 p.m. and which warned of an attack yesterday between 9 p.m. and 11 p.m. American nationals have been put on high alert and asked to review their travel plans.
A statement from the U.S. Embassy in Kampala warned all American nationals to review their travel plans in light of the information, especially those who intend to use Entebbe International Airport. It also asked its nationals to be more vigilant about their personal security and that any terror attack could target places such as hotels, nightclubs, shopping malls, transport hubs and religious institutions. Uganda police confirmed the threat.
It came in, and like any other information that has been coming in, this time specifically mentioning where they want to hit, okay? Talking of the 5th day during this Ramadan period and specifically those areas that they want to hit.
The warning does not name any group, but the Al-Qaeda-linked Al-Shabaab insurgents have previously threatened to attack Uganda for its involvement in the African Union force that is fighting the militant group in Somalia.
Much as it may not necessarily be Al-Shabaab or where it is, but knowing that these do network, it could be anybody. But they could also do that to kind of divert us. But the most important thing is that we are not taking this information for granted.
Earlier in the day, the Counter-Terrorism Unit of Police and the Joint Anti-Terrorism Task Force carried out impromptu checks in crowded areas of Kampala. The on-spot checks affected the bus terminals at Nachivubo and Chisenyi, where the officers were practically involved in carrying out body searches and scrutinizing luggage. But exactly what were they looking for in this snap check operation?
Now, we've been trying to audit both ourselves and also the public compared to as in relation to the threat level. And we identified as one of the gaps being people not actually do what it takes. For example, to check, when we talk of access control and such procedures.
The Al-Qaeda-linked Shabaab insurgents have claimed several recent attacks carried out in crowded areas and on public transport, such as buses, in Kenya and Somalia.
We realize that the transport industry and marketplaces, and those busy areas have been a big target, and they are always targets. So that's why we chose to go to those places where we've been.
The threats reignite memories of twin bombings in Kampala linked to the Al-Shabaab about 4 years ago during the World Cup final, in which at least 76 people died.
The Ministry of Health is now advising Ugandans to limit their travels to the Ebola-affected West African countries of Liberia, Guinea and Sierra Leone. This warning comes after Ugandan Dr. Samuel Muhumuza Mutoro succumbed to the Ebola hemorrhagic fever in Liberia. According to the World Health Organization, the death toll from the epidemic has since hit 467 out of the 760 registered cases. And as Francis Jingo reports, Uganda has dispatched a team of experts to the affected West African countries to help out in containing the outbreak.
Following the rising death attributed to the deadly Ebola virus in several West African countries, the Ministry of Health has issued an alert to Ugandans to watch for any Ebola cases across the country. The warning comes 2 days after a Ugandan doctor, Samuel Muhumuza Mutoro, succumbed to Ebola while in the line of duty in Liberia. The ministry says the doctor's death has caused panic among Ugandans, with fear that the outbreak in Liberia, Guinea and Sierra Leone could spill over to Uganda. The ministry is warning Ugandans to limit travel to the Ebola-affected West African countries.
Unless, of course, it's an emergency or something very, very important. However, there are no travel bans to the affected countries. In the case of any travels, you are advised to observe the precautionary measures instituted by the respective countries. Those with relatives living in the affected countries should keep on the alert in case their relatives return to the country during this period.
According to the World Health Organization, at least 467 people have died of Ebola, as at 30th June out of the 759 cases of the disease reported across the affected countries. Medical experts say the West African Ebola strain is highly infectious compared to the strain that have previously hit Uganda.
Most from the way it is spreading and killing, most likely it is Ebola Zaire.
Uganda has suffered at least 3 Ebola outbreaks in the last 14 years in 2000, 2007 and 2012. The outbreaks claimed 2 doctors, Dr. Matthew Rukwiya in 2000 and Dr. John Akure in 2007. Because of Uganda's experience in containing the disease, a team of experts led by State Minister for General Duties in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Eliodat Mwesige, has left for Accra, Ghana to work with the West African teams to contain the epidemic.
Uganda has gained experience, has gained expertise, and has gained capacity to diagnose the disease. In the past, Uganda would send specimens to Centers for Disease Control in Atlanta, Georgia, United States of America.
Ebola kills in a short period, but the experts say it can be easily prevented. The disease manifests through high fever, vomiting, diarrhea, abnormal pain, headache, red eyes, and sometimes bleeding from the body openings.
There is an interaction, possible an interaction with animals, but we have not definitely found out that Ebola is harbored by this and that. But there is a close association with bats, fruit-eating bats, and people who get exposed to monkey meat.
Though no case has been reported in Uganda, the ministry has intensified surveillance checks at the border posts and the airport to detect potential suspects from the affected countries. Jingo Francis, NTV.
4 heads of state and representatives from 6 African countries have attended the 6th Northern Corridor Integration Project Summit in Kigali, Rwanda. The 6 countries represented were Uganda, Rwanda, Kenya, South Sudan, Burundi, and Ethiopia.
The launch of the East African Exchange was the climax of today's Northern Corridor Integration Summit.
This exchange will have great benefit not just to the people of Rwanda, but to the people of our entire region. It will be of great benefit to our farmers, especially our small-scale farmers who have in the past been exploited by middlemen.
We believe that the East Africa Exchange can further your vision of value addition in agriculture and global trade competitiveness.
Since the inception of the integration process 14 joint projects have been singled out and are under different stages of implementation. In his welcome remarks, the host, President Paul Kagame, said there was no better example of liberation than the ambitious targets the countries have set. Rwanda is this week celebrating its 20th liberation anniversary.
We all know what success would mean, what this success means for the citizens of this region. Less bureaucracy, better infrastructure, more trade, and ultimately higher incomes for Eastern African families.
On his part, South Sudan's President Salva Kiir brought attention to his war-ravaged country, making it known to the leaders present that while he was grateful for their help, the troubles of the young nation were far from over.
If it was not the intervention of President Museveni in the first place, we would have lost many lives, more than what is now being said to have been lost. Always when we cry foul that we are being attacked while we are observing the cessation of hostilities, we don't get any response. Instead, the mediators and the international community always put us together that violations are being carried out by both parties.
While his remarks were beside the point of the summit, this was an opportunity as good as any to bring to the fore that the countries had to stand together. Josephine Karunji, NTV.
Morning at NTV continues with the press review. We cross over to the rooftop. Brian and Joel, good morning.
A very good morning to you, Mabel. We're still live at the Kampala Serena Hotel, and this morning, of course, a screaming headline on literally all the papers. Security on alert amid terror threat. We'll be looking at the details of that when we come back to review the Daily Monitor, the Red Pepper, and the Observer. And if you're just joining us this morning, we review Daily Monitor, the Observer, and the Red Pepper. And joining me is Joel Senyonyi. Simon is not with us this morning. Good morning, Joel.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm a bit feeling too security conscious this morning.
I could see on our thread. I could see you were very, very anxious.
Yeah.
You seem to be a coward of sorts. Look,
I'm not a coward. I'm just too security conscious.
But it's okay. They say cowards live longer, so you might live for quite a bit. I saw this picture that is on the front page of the Daily Monitor, you know, on social media, and I thought it was some photoshopped kind of thing. But these guys were moving around the city as if they are in some jungle of sorts, with all this stuff all over them, and you know, I'm thinking, what nonsense is this? I'm not a security personnel, but who goes to the streets dressed like this?
This feels like guerrilla warfare.
It's just, I don't get it.
I find it so dramatic when I don't know if the police, amidst all this, is supposed to make us more fearful, or it's supposed to do whatever it takes for us to be calm.
Of course, ultimately, they should be sending a message to terrorists. But which terrorist is going to get alarmed just because you've dressed up like this, you know? Then they put on this stuff when they're in the bushes and there's all this green around them and they cover themselves with leaves and, you know. But on the streets of Kampala, this is just wrong. It's very backward.
Really?
Very backward.
Does it have to come down to that? The police was doing what it was supposed to do to make sure that we are safe.
Just think about it, you know. Police officers and army officers, you are dressed like you are going for, you know, a jungle warfare on the streets of Kampala. It's absolute nonsense.
2 points. One, and I got very concerned. At around 10 p.m., the spokesperson for the media center, Vono Pondo, starts to release tweets. Yeah, the executive director starts to release tweets telling us all of a sudden that the threats were just blown out of proportion. Is that the right time when he's had literally 24 hours to say something and he's quiet, and at 10:30 p.m. on the day when the attack is supposedly going to happen, you release tweets.
That's when you're seeing into action. Look, I am not a terrorist, but thinking like a terrorist now and seeing how we've had this knee-jerk reaction, I would be thinking our police, our security personnel are very inept. They're incompetent. Because, they are scampering all over the place, roaming all over everywhere, wielding all these guns and dressed like they are going to fight in the jungle. It just goes to show for incompetence. This is, I think, how this is not how terrorism is fought, Intelligence, etc., etc. Not roaming the streets dressed like this guy here. It's just so annoying. We are sending a message to these guys that we are very incompetent, we don't know what we are doing.
What is the police supposed to do in this case? Sit back or actually send men on the ground on the streets of Kampala and Entebbe? Because there were literally fortresses yesterday and I guess this morning.
And at the end of the day, what are the results? Besides sending shivers down the spines of Ugandans. And terrorists are not foolish, I like to think. Now they see we are on a knee-jerk reaction, we are all over the place. If they are to strike, they don't strike that very day, for goodness sake. Not that they are going to strike. God is protecting us, but we need to get more competent than this. I think this is...
I do not know if my views are very radical, but what does it say of a police chief who confesses that his police is very vulnerable, cannot do the work it's supposed to do?
That was 2 days ago.
2 days ago. And of course, last night he also goes on and says he was misquoted.
But some of these guys need to be very careful because we have footage. For you to come and say one thing and then tomorrow you say another. There's a Lukbara saying that liars have short legs. The truth soon catches up with them, So for Kayihura to come and say he was misquoted, these things are available verbatim, Because it is about 2 or 3 days ago that he said our airport is vulnerable and so on. And now look, of course these guys, if they're out there, they're watching to see, okay, with a threat like this, where are the lacunas, which areas are we plugging, and so on. I think we need to be a little bit more serious. But there's a lot more in the Daily Monitor besides security being on alert amid terror threats. There's more than 1,200 students that have graduated from UCU today. They're joining a flurry of many young people out there that are jobless. Look, on an annual basis, we churn out thousands, of people to the job market. There's not enough jobs for them.
It's about 9,000 jobs, right? 9,000, 90,000.
Available for how many? About 90,000.
440,000.
Against 400,000 plus,
yes.
So you really see that it's still a tall order. We need to do a lot more to create jobs for our young people.
See, I have a friend, and I guess that's what it came down to, Joel, being able to create something for yourself, regardless of the degree you got. I have a friend who got a first-class degree, roamed the streets for 5 years without any job, and just decided, let me create something because obviously I may be too overqualified for every job.
And that happens for many a student or a graduate. Look, we, of course, should be encouraging young people to go out there, do something for themselves. There's never going to be enough jobs for everybody, yeah? But just think about it. Is it possible that everybody will be a job creator, then who will work for the other? So I think it works that we encourage young people, train them. I like what Enterprise Uganda is doing, moving around the country, equipping them with skills to do, startups and the like. But ultimately, that's not going to happen for every young people. I wish it could happen for every young people, that every young person, will go out there and start a business. You and I know that's not possible.
But
so
maybe
we've got to do
because
everything we can to create jobs.
2 days ago I told you, maybe we have a government that has conditioned people to think that we are going to help you. So that's the attitude that our young people have. Every young person that gets out thinks they are going to be assured of a job, or even help creating their own thing means you have to get youth fund.
Which is not working. Look, we've had many youth this, youth the other, youth the other. Tell me what has worked, what you can explain cogently and say, this has worked, it has ameliorated young people. I don't know of any, yeah? So, of course, young people need to be very careful. If you're going to wait on government, you're going to wait for a very, very long time. So do whatever you can in the meantime. However, we should not stop calling on government and saying, look, can we ensure that we create jobs for young people? If we do not, this place is going to burn up. Look at all the uprisings that happened in the countries where it did. It takes young people who are very aggrieved, agitated, they are jobless, they are very despondent, and you will see what will happen. I hope that does not happen.
Well, obviously, the young people in Uganda are about 40 years and scampering and maybe holding on to the money from the sole candidacy. Speaking of young people, again in the Daily Monitor, 8,000 to Miss Chambogo admissions over space.
And this is one of the biggest problems of our government institutions. Look at Makerere, for example. First of all, it bites off a lot more than it can chew. It takes off on many more students than it can handle. And yet there's many others that are left out, you know. It's a tall order. We need to expand.
I tend to disagree with you. Look at the quality. Of course, many of us, and I've told our friends, and no offense to other universities, Makerere is like the only thing going on here. The other universities maybe qualify, they have the quality in one course. But at the end of the day, as an employer, I'm going to look at your transcript and ask, where did you go to school? And you have a higher chance, Joel, if you're from Makerere University.
Actually, there's people that think otherwise nowadays. They think that many people are now looking out a lot more for universities like UCU because of the principles in the way these young people are trained. You don't miss lectures at all. You know, it's very well structured. Here at Makerere, you can appear in class once but still graduate somehow.
Yeah.
And yes, you talk about Makerere still being good. It is fourth in Africa, we are told. That is good, but it's not enough. The confusion at that university is a lot. I was telling somebody
doesn't that every university have these problems? But we are looking at the
But some are a little bit more organized.
Every university has lecturers who sleep with students to get marks. Even at UCU, where discipline is too, you know.
Look, the structuring of Makerere, I think systems need to be very well organized at that university. You know, getting to register, it takes forever. You know, getting to register for one ID, those young people queue up every day for a week, 2 weeks, and so the system is just, it just has issues. I think it needs to be remedied.
Maybe I'm one of those very lucky few because I stayed in Makerere while young and went to school there, and I never had trouble getting my ID, registration, all this stuff.
You
so
were connected. You stayed in the university. That means what, you were relative to one of the staff members or something?
I went through the process.
You
so if I wanted an ID, I sat. But
the ground was not leveled. But now we talk about jobs, young people graduating. We are told in Southern Sudan, Ugandan taxi drivers are ordered out of there. Taxi drivers, conductors. These people are doing something that we should be doing here. They are saying, look, these jobs, these mundane jobs should be left for our nationals in South Sudan. You don't come from Uganda and then you come here, become a taxi driver, you become a conductor. South Sudan is implementing
it. Who do we blame?
Why can we not do it here in Uganda?
Border riders were chased out of South Sudan. Now taxi drivers are chased out of South Sudan. Chinese are coming here to do jobs that we're supposed to do. Simon and I have been here very passionate speaking about CNOC. Who do we blame?
We should be doing this here as well.
I probably think that we are too lazy to even do these jobs.
We are too lazy to do these jobs. We're here.
Yeah.
I don't think so. There's Ugandans out there that are willing to do anything. There are some who are lazy, but look, it's not every Ugandan that is lazy, really. You know, there's people that would like to do something, but it's not available, you know. So for us to have Chinese coming here and sweeping and, you know, carrying musenyu and that kind of thing, South Sudan, a country that is how old? It's not even 5 years old, you know, but we here that are 50 years plus, we're still doing this. I think we need to pick a lead.
I guess I'll play the devil's advocate for now. I did a feature 2 years ago when I got some traders at Arua Park, and they told me some of the nonsensical things, I guess, for lack of a better word, that they go through while in South Sudan. And I thought to myself, I think we deserve a little respect.
I think we do.
We have helped South Sudan a lot. They need to know that we need respect. We earned that respect.
But respect is not clamored for, it is earned, like you say.
No, I think it's time we demanded for the respect. And the scenario was given that if, say, a white car knocked a dog in South Sudan, every white car that passes pays a fine. Now, I do not know where laws operate like that in the world, but South Sudan, that's how it goes. And I thought to myself, that is so unfair.
It's an interesting place. Look, you talk about respect, I think we do. There's many traders that are still demanding millions of dollars. South Sudanese government has not paid these people. I think that is wrong. We need to do that, you know. But as far as expelling, of course, Ugandan taxi drivers and conductors, it does hurt us. You know, these are our people, they are relatives and so on. They deserve jobs, but thinking about it in our context here, we should be doing this as well. You know, for the Indians that come here as investors, what are they doing? They are roasting maize in Chikovo and that kind of thing. It's not right.
And you
not
give them
right
tax holidays on roasting maize.
Investors. Now, the IGP powers on gatherings unjustified. This is according to Justice Kasule. You know, the POM, the Public Order Management, no, not bill anymore. It is a law. And this justice says, look, the IGP is given too much powers in a democratic, you know, country like this one, or in a supposed to be democratic country like this one. And I see sense in what they are saying, because look, if the IGP, it is at his discretion and volition to determine that, look, this now you can gather here, you cannot gather here. Let me first find out if you know, the owners of that premises not have anybody else going to use it. And some of us are thinking, wait a minute, when did police become brokers? You know, that
in the face of the POM, Joel, what would be the alternative? Who do you think would be given power to sanction gatherings?
Look, the right of assembly is a constitutional right. For
well, it's no longer now. You have to ask for permission.
It's still embedded in our constitution.
So where do we... Well, it's not anymore. So you either break the law by assembling illegally or you ask for permission.
In the constitution...
The IGP has been deemed not the right person. Who would be the right person?
Just to put it very well clearly to you, in our constitution, it is still very well embedded therein. The right of assembly is the right of every Ugandan. It's just that, of course, now we have this POM that comes in to say, okay, you've got the right, but we are going to regulate it. Now, you see, in the regulation, they're actually, in many ways, taking away this right. Look, at the end of the day, our IGP, who has been seen to be a yellow man, a very political man, he is not as apolitical as we expect him to be. Police is supposed to provide security, you know, but, you know, one of the exculpations they give of, look, why you should consult us is we need to find out from Brian if you own a premises and say I come with a group of people who want to use it, you know, for a demonstration and that kind of thing. Police says no. First inform us, then we ask Brian whether that place is free, it's available, no one else is using it. And you're thinking, when did police become brokers for you? What is that? You know,
police is supposed to provide security.
Yeah, that's the point. If not to provide brokerage of, let's find out from Mulondo, the owner of the premises, if there's no one else going to use it and that kind of thing. That's not their role. It defeats, you know, reason in many ways.
Well, I'm sure the IGP has a lot on his plate this morning, and the right of assembly is definitely something he'll have to think about. On to another story, Rwanda. President declines to reveal retirement plans. Is this a plan by all presidents in Africa?
Look, this gentleman sometime back was saying that, look, I will leave office, I will retire, and then at some point was saying, if these guys keep hounding me, asking me when I'm going to retire, I will adamantly remain in power a lot more. And we're thinking, look, it is a matter of responsibility for our leaders. It's not a private affair. When you're president of any given country, it is not a private affair.
Don't we need some of that once in a while for the president to say, you know what, don't put pressure on me, otherwise I will be forced to stay.
No, but you see, the point that I'm making is it's not a private affair for you to be president. When you become president, you're president of all of us, you know. So it is a matter of responsibility that you know what your plans are, when are you leaving, and that kind of thing. Because you see, it's got many other implications. We've not seen peaceful transfer of power in this our good country. Right. We need to see that. And His Excellency, our president, can ensure of that. He can bequeath a good transition to this country. So when we ask as citizens of this country, we're not poking our noses into the life of the president. For goodness sake, he is our president. And I think it is a matter of responsibility. We deserve that. We deserve to know. And
I do not know whether the picture on the front page of the Observer, helps people like Joel Senyonyi, because this time the president was handed a map of Uganda showing our sole candidate. I think, let me do this so that you can see it clearly. Kanungu Traders endorsed Museveni, and our sole candidate 2016. Lately, I've been seeing adverts of sole candidacy on TV.
Look, actually, I was chatting.
Are you? This is a battle already won, Joel.
You would think so. It's going to be a tall order for His Excellency the President to lose the election in 2016. Look, the power of incumbency in Africa is a humongous one, you know. And if you think money was used in 2011, wait for this one. It has already begun with the Chankwanzi resolution and money being thrown all over the place. Look, at the end of the day, I think His Excellency should share his plans with us. He is our president. And like I'm saying, we deserve to know. We sure deserve to know. In a bit, we'll move to Daily Monitor. But I just wanted to read this quote. Quote of the day in the Daily Monitor. This is MP Gertrude Nakabira on the recall of pregnant officers. As you should know, 4 police officers, pregnant police officers have been recalled from Parliament. And this is what she says, that it's a human right for women to give birth. We do not have to first get permission from our bosses to become pregnant. Now, Honorable Miriam Matembe is already here. I'll be hosting her on the big story to discuss this and a lot more. They're digging in their heels as women activists and saying, look, when did it actually become mandatory?
You'll help me ask the Honorable that the nature of police's job requires a lot of standing, a lot of...
It's a rigorous one.
And I think pregnant women should not be allowed to do it. So I think it's an opportunity for feminists.
But look, you talk about pregnant women. I've seen male police officers who actually look more pregnant than an 8.5-month-old pregnant woman. You have seen those guys,
the red
but somehow they managed to do it.
FDC dying over cash. We looked a couple of weeks ago about the role of money in politics, whether it's important or not. And obviously, political parties in Uganda that are cash-strapped are not going to survive this. If you don't have the money, you will be in trouble. In the Observer, of course, Kasiate writes about wearing the right golf shoes in his metrosexual column. Please check it out.
When Ugandans play golf?
Well, I got an opportunity to play golf.
Ah, you mean the other day when you were on air, you know? There are guys who play golf, but then there are guys like you who play with the clubs and that kind of thing. Still in the Observer here, terror threat, security chiefs overstretched. Look, we need to do a lot more. If you have to fight terrorism, we've got to use intelligence a lot more than deploying soldiers who are dressed like they are going to the jungles of Central African Republic to sniff out Joseph Kony. Teacher held over stolen ovatory here in the Observer. Something that is worrisome. Tororo boys in sex trade. These guys are turning to prostitution. They don't have much of what to do, and they're thinking, look, the only way to make a living, to put food on our tables, we end up doing this.
Well, Friday, of course, in the school program, there's a progi that we'll be looking at also on this show in a couple of minutes. That will be after the big story. But Mabel, one of the stories, now this was very shocking on CNN and BBC, was, of course, the threat of terror at the Ugandan airport. Tell us a bit about that and what other stories are making headlines on the international scene.
Now, I'd actually like to remind you that I actually beat you in golf. You seem to have forgotten that very important detail, that I beat you in golf. I'm not too sure if you can hear me, but I guess we shall continue that discussion later. Now, another story that is big, other than the security threat, is a flyover which collapsed in Brazil. It collapsed in one of the host cities, killing at least 2 and injuring 22. Now, this obviously is very bad PR for the country that is hosting the World Cup. Very unfortunate. If you look at the picture here, a bus has been crushed, and some kind of truck there as well has been crushed in Brazil. And a teacher who was apparently very near the place said it sounded like a bomb. Now, in this time, in the wake of all this terror, I'm sure very many people are scared. That is on the Sky News page. Also on the Sky News page, airlines are to scrutinize smartphones amid the threat of terror. U.S. security officials fear terrorists have now worked away on how they can get a smartphone and turn it into a bomb, which will avoid being detected by the metal detectors at the airport. So they are asking countries from Africa, obviously, Middle East and Europe that are flying to the US directly to up their game in terms of security. Now, on the BBC page, Africa here, we have the West African states agreeing to a strategy. There is a meeting being held in Ghana, as we also had in the news, and as they fight to contain this deadly disease. Also on the Africa page, Zimbabwe's Robert Mugabe, who is actually 90 years old, is asking the white farmers who still haven't given up their land to cede their land to the black Zimbabweans. We have more news here on Al Jazeera. The Iraq in northern region, the Kurds are asking for independence. They basically want to carry out a referendum so that this is actually a move in the country probably breaking up now, you know, or it's a bit sad here, but especially with the ISIS rebels and all that's happening, they seem to be getting more ground in the area, and we may be seeing another Iraq, just as we saw South Sudan break up some time back. Now, yesterday, Sharapova got kicked out of Wimbledon, but that's not the big story. The big story actually trending was she did not know who Sachin Tendulkar is. Now, he's considered a god in India. Now, because she didn't know, so many people took to Twitter and were asking who is Sharapova. Now, you can read this, and lots more. I'm sure we shall be talking about it when we return later for the sports segment, but it was a big story in India and also in the UK yesterday. We shall be taking a short break, but do stay around. The big story is up next.
You're watching Morning at NTV with Simon Kasiate, Mabel Kebirunji, and Brian Mulondo.
Welcome to Jazz with Isaiah.
The blues come alive to your screen here on NTV. Jazz with Isaiah gets you closer to the rhythms of the saxophone. And now, the Jazz Show is showing on Wednesday at 10 p.m.
Jazz with Isaiah is just going on to another level.
Is everything all about men?
A lot of men confuse possessiveness with obsessiveness.
Or are they left out every time?
It is important for a woman who walks into any room to always feel like she's brought her A game.
I think it's quite a disappointment. It's juice with no sugar in it.
At a new time, Men gets the men talking.
I think what's really scary is what goes through the mind of a man.
Join us as we look at men, only on Men.
Know what they know every Friday at 10 p.m.
This is Africa in 2050. The population will have expanded more than twice the number today. To have better management of the population, we will need to invest in education, invest in health, invest in the economy, and have better governance. Broadcasting live, UNFPA brings you a debate on the future of East Africa's demographic dividend on Friday at 2 p.m. on NTV.
Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat.
Follow the beat.
Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat.
Follow the beat.
Follow the beat, follow the beat.
Follow the beat.
Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat.
Follow the beat.
Obonyumirwa ebyemizannyo jangu nkulage.
Does! And Adam Johnson, the boyhood Newcastle United man, historic, flying in the face of all football logic. A magnificent goal by Robin van Persie. Ferdinand! Everton lead at Old Trafford. Walcott, Giroud.
4th annual Dog Show and Bazaar is back. Come and be a part of man's best friend as they compete in tracking, agility and course maneuver, attack, dog handling. 6th of July at the Chadondo Rugby Club grounds from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. 20,000 shillings for adults and 10,000 shillings for children. Can your dog manage any of these challenges? For all dog owners and lovers.
You're watching Morning at NTV with Simon Kasiate, Mabel Kebirunji and Brian Mulundo.
It's Friday, the 4th of July. I'm sure many Americans are celebrating, and we celebrate with them. I now hand over to Joel, who is at the rooftop, who has a very interesting guest this Friday morning. Good morning, Joel.
Good morning, Mabel. An interesting guest it is that you say, people like yourself, a lady, Parliament. Reason is they are expecting somebody taking into account the health of this lady, of human rights violation.
Good morning. We do apologize for that technical glitch. We now hand you over to Joel for today's big story. Joel, I'm told, is not ready, but this is our Facebook page. If you have not yet liked our Facebook page, I do not know what you're waiting for. Over 22,000 likes on our page, and you get to see lots of stuff as well as comments on the show. And we have people here, Asega, saying we do not appreciate what the police does, but in the end we will cry. We have John Okello saying, I think the government should do the same in terms of stopping the drug trafficking, just the way the Asians are doing so, so that they too feel the pain and see if it's a good thing. Some other comments here. Caroline Biarugaba saying she loves us all. And someone, Mafabi Alan, says no human being has the authority to punish another human being by means of killing. It's only God who decides who should go and who should stay. Besides, killing isn't the best way to punish offenders of the law. This is in regards to the Chinese story of the executions of Ugandans in the country. Remember, you can also follow us on Twitter at Morning at NTV. You can send an SMS to 6565 and we will be glad to respond to your questions. We will now hand you over to Joel. Good morning, Joel.
Good morning, Mabel. We do apologize, profuse apologies for that technical glitch, but we are back and rolling with the big story. Joining me this morning, Honorable Dr. Miriam Matembe. She tells me she is former many things. I could probably adumbrate a few. Member of Parliament, Ethics and Integrity Minister, and many other things. She says, add the word wonderful things, former many wonderful things. She's a women's rights activist, but she tells me I introduced her as somebody who is in the personal sector. Senior citizen. Good to have you here, Honorable.
Thank you very much. Good morning, viewers and listeners.
Honorable, you came with a very big Bible this morning. Could it be that you're worrisome about the terror threats and so you move with your gun and that kind of thing, or are you here to preach this morning?
No. You were not supposed to see my Bible.
You put it here for all of us to see. So
that is the only table you gave me. Could I put my Bible down on the floor? I respect it so highly. But it was supposed, I was doing my quiet time within the vehicle. Time. Because you got me here so early. Retired people, you get up, you read, you
but
do
your
your
quiet time. But if you're going to fight for the rights of women, you're going to get up very early.
Excuse me. No, I did all this. For the last how many years I've been doing it, and I think the young women now are supposed to take up the mantle. And that's why when NTV called me, I beseech them so much, please leave me alone. It is too early for me. Let the young women listening to you, let the young women come. You are the only one saying that word. No single woman in Uganda.
I'm thinking about
says
it.
That
if I put myself in there.
Let's go back to the subject matter because
it is actually very related to what we are talking about.
Okay, then let me pursue it because as I was telling you, I never let women in this country and on the African continent know that I can never let them down. And they know I have not let them down. So when I'm telling you, please let the young women who have carried the mantle come so early and talk, it does not mean that I'm letting them down. When you insisted, here I am. But then I had not finished my quiet time and the traffic jam on the Port Bay Road, unless you hit the road by 6:30, you cannot be able to come here and have your time.
Okay,
so you should
have you here. Thanks so much for coming with the Bible. We are very safe. Honorable, not too long ago, 4 female police officers were recalled from Parliament. They are expecting, and let me read to you the statement by the deputy spokesperson. A lady herself, this is Pauline Namaya, she said, our uniform must be worn with a tight belt. Pregnant officers cannot wear belts, meaning they cannot put on uniforms, and without a uniform, one will be compromising duty. And so according to the police, they're saying, look, we are taking into account the health of these ladies. They're expecting. The work of a police officer is a rigorous one. So let us recall them. They cannot handle this for a while. What is your take on that?
Actually, when I heard about that issue, I didn't believe it. I couldn't imagine that that could be done. But then in Uganda, there are so many unbelievable things on first hearing that eventually are actually true. Simply like this thing I'm hearing about every member of Parliament of the NRM caucus, should I say?
You said caucus? Interesting.
Caucus receiving 110 million shillings.
Do you have evidence to that effect, Honorable?
Let me finish. If you call me here, you let me finish my sentence.
Honorable, we have 20 minutes to do this, so it's going to be a back and forth. Go for it, Honorable, go for it.
Now you have interfered with my statement. So as I was saying, that when you hear these things for the first time, they become unbelievable. But eventually, they are true, like now. So when I brought in the other issue of 110 millions, for now, it seems unbelievable, but you never know down the road, it could be true, like this has turned out true. But having said that, for me, I can't understand Uganda. Uganda as a country and as a government seems to really be going back completely instead of going forward. Because for somebody to make a statement like that, that you know the police work, we wear tight belts, actually, this is total utter ignorance and lack of exposure. A complete lack of knowledge of how things are done in this world. Because when somebody tells me that they tie tight belts, I want to ask you, does a police officer's job mean running all over the place?
Sometimes.
Every police, just hold on. Every police officer, there is administration, there is grilling, simani drills, there is a police a police institution is an institution where so many jobs do exist. And it is not true that every police person at any particular time should be doing rigorous work. You hear that? So, before I go into that detail, I wanted to say that for me actually to bring me here to ask me such questions, the issue should be, is this issue a violation of human rights? Yes. Is it a matter of discrimination which is unconstitutional? Yes. Is this abrogation of the Constitution? Yes. Therefore, should it be done? No. Simple questions like that. And let me tell you, this chief of police, Kaihura, for the...
Your good friend, I'm told.
Yes. For the 4 years we were together on the Uganda Constitutional Commission crafting the draft constitution for Uganda. And he knows very, very, very well what the Constitution says and what is in the Constitution. He should know that there should be no discrimination against anybody on any ground, including grounds of sex.
Honorable, let me put it to you. I don't want to miss this point.
Then you put it. Secondly, he should know, being chief of police, he should know that he needs human resource, continuity of human resource.
Including females.
And it is this, I mean, including female, no, including mothers who produce human resource for
Honorable, you are conceding to the fact that when a lady is expecting, that means her work should be lessened. She shouldn't do as rigorous work.
Don't put words in my mouth.
Let me bring it up. Let me bring it up, because you said there are other responsibilities. You know, there's administration and so on. Why does a woman have to be running around? So if she's been doing that, that means from what you're saying, if she's been, you know, doing the running around and so on, if she's expectant, then she should be redeployed. So you're conceding that this is actually a good thing, because police is saying, look, we are concerned about their health. Let's recall them and maybe think of what to do with them. So you seem to be in concomitance.
An interviewer who puts words in my mouth.
Honorable, that's what you said.
Miriam Matembe is very specific and very clear in her words. And I'm saying that that statement is a nuisance. And now you want to provoke me to use words which I had not.
Please bring it on. That's why we brought Honorable Matembe this morning. The one of Pauline Namaye.
The one who says we have tight belts with our stomachs. Excuse me. They are specific code of dress. If you want blue police uniform, please know that women are supposed to be in police, and please know that they are mothers, they produce children. Please know that your policemen also have wives, and in fact some of them marry policemen fellows, and the army men marry fellow army women, and they are supposed to build a family, make up a family like any other human being. And therefore, in making your uniforms, provide for uniforms for pregnant ladies. And I don't like the way the things are being portrayed in the press, saying sex women. That is nonsense. That is undignifying our women. For you, you are saying they are respecting them, they are considering their health, but they are being undignified. Even now, when they are reporting about them, they call them sex women. They say they are supposed to enjoy sex. I mean, this is trash. All this is nonsense, for goodness sake.
A very angry Honorable Matembe this morning. Look, I see your point of discrimination, because I was quipping earlier on, you know, that, look, there are some male police officers who actually look a lot more pregnant, you know, than these ladies. They've got these bellies.
You see, now when
you go running around. No, but I mean, that's the point. If it's the issue of, you know, the belt cannot be tightened and so on. But, Honorable, you know your rights. Actually, this morning when you came in, you said, look, you've got to change that set because I'm not feeling okay. Put a lower set, you know. And we did respect the use of people scampering and changing the chairs. And one would think about the so many million Ugandan women in this country, you know, who are not as vocal as you are, who probably know their rights, but, you know, cannot aggressively demand for them, like you did demand for your rights this morning. And one would think that's an indictment on the likes of Honorable Miriam Matembe and other women's rights activists. You have probably not done enough to educate the women on their rights, and after knowing those rights, to go ahead and demand for these rights.
You know, I started by telling you that Uganda is going in reverse. In everything, instead of going forward, we are going in reverse. And it is so unfortunate. It is extremely unfortunate, because for me, I know, during that time we are really working, preoccupied by good governance, human rights, and development. we had gone a long way in enlightening Ugandans, including the women and men themselves, about the rights of everybody, not only women alone, rights of children, rights of women, rights of human beings, but right now, as you will agree with me, on the issue of violation of human rights, it's not only the women alone, even men's rights, Ugandans' rights are being violated right and left. And Kaihura does not seem to know, Kaihura with his institution of police.
I thought it's our institution.
No, let me tell you,
Police
it
Force.
stopped being, when they use it, instead of protecting us, to torture us, now it becomes they against us. So what was I saying? That the militarization of this country, militarization of governance has obscured or covered or undermined the big strides we had achieved in the area of protection and defense of human rights. So this, for me, just, treating these women like this, who should be treated very well, whom we should not even be discussing here. Because now, what about their children? Their children are saying, they said they sacked you because you are pregnant. Pregnant women, by the way, are supposed to be treated so dignifiably.
And so delicate.
One, because they are playing God's role. You know, the role of creation was God's role. But he entrusted it into us, human beings. But the biggest part of that role...
But the man participates as well.
I said into us as human beings, both men and women. But the biggest part is of course executed by women. So that's why women, a pregnant woman should be held in high esteem, should be treated so well, should be...
And recalled so that she's given simpler work
and
to do.
Let me tell you what, if those are your words, if you want to tell the viewers your words, tell them, but not mine.
I'm just trying to analyze what you're saying.
I'm putting the whole situation in the context, actually. I want the listeners listening to me to know that human rights in this country, because of militarism, because of impunity, because of lack of good governance, because of lack of respect for, adamancy, this impunity and arrogance on the part of the government and those who are in government, people like Kaihura, including their boss, they are all imitating their boss in terms of arrogance, in terms of
Honorable,
that kind of thing this one is just a manifestation of breakdown of law and order.
Honorable, we need to begin winding up.
Constitutionalism, of
so
breakdown,
that we don't break down the structure of this show. But let me put this to you, Honorable. Many a person will tell you that Uganda is still a patriarchal society, and that is a fact. But some think that women's activists like Honorable Miriam Matembe blow some of these things out of proportion. There are men who are suffering. We don't hear much. You'll once in a while talk a little bit about the men who are suffering.
Have you had me tell you that people are suffering?
Yes, I said once in a
so
while.
now
Let me build the point, Honorable. And at the end of the day,
your point. I've already covered it.
At the end of the day, Honorable, some people do feel that, look, you're trying to uplift the girl child, the woman, while you trample against the man. He is very suffocated, and it's not very helpful. Because, you see, you don't build up one
tell
as you trample
here.
up on another.
Let me tell you, you organize your show here and come and say those things. For me, I'm saying mine. You are the one who called me talk about these women.
And I just asked
now
you
I'm here
of, are you not lifting up one as you downtrodden on another? It's a yes or no, Honorable.
I'm not. Who told you a lawyer says yes or no? I am a mother of 4 good sons. They've been brought up so well, knowing people's rights, including women's rights and children's rights. Now, when you say I'm blowing it out, I don't know whether I was at police, I don't know whether I'm the chief who sacked away these women, and therefore it caused a public out.
Honorable. Yet, we don't know that yet. As a lawyer, you should know that.
I don't know what they did. I asked you, what is it? You said you don't know. If you don't know, you don't even know what the word recalled means.
They have been recalled, according to the police
spokesperson. When they recall members of parliament, when they recall them,
No, these ones have been recalled to the station.
Can you explain the word recall? When they recall members of parliament, when they say recall, they have called you back from your employment. Don't put me into nonsense, by the way.
It's not nonsense, Honorable, we are missing the point here. If your police bosses who are supposed to deploy you, they send you to parliament, then after 6 months they can recall you and send you to Kasese, recall you, send you to the Ministry of Energy. That's what we are talking about.
Did I come to discuss deployment in police? You called me. You
issue,
called me talk about discrimination, whether these women are treated well. Please, next time, let me advance my points, because for me, the issue I said here, I don't want you to paint a picture that women have become unruly and women are
Some people think so.
If they think so, I don't think so, because for me, I don't. When you call me here, you should allow me to use my experience.
And I'm giving you the time too.
I'm one of the most vocal women in this country.
Without a doubt.
My husband is a dignified man in this country. If you don't know him, people have even been awarding him, giving him awards for being such a fantastic man. I haven't trampled on him. My boys, whom I have trained, they know how to treat women. They have married such wonderful women and their homes are all right. Now when you start telling me, people say, it is only insecure, and we, what do I say? Insecure men who don't want to change, who live in a cultural museum. You know, if they are living in cultural museums, then when they see a woman advancing, they will say a woman is trampling on the man. But for us, when we are saying equality of opportunities between men and women, if it is a question of treating men like this, treat women also the same, I mean, how does that destroy anything at all?
Finally, Honorable.
People are living in a cultural museum, even the police itself, these police chiefs, who are doing what they are done. They are not driven by the law.
It's good they're watching a show like this one,
they are
so
not driven by the law. They are aware of advancement of the world advancement and technological advancement of how you can do things. For them, they live in a cultural museum. In their mind is a culture. A woman is supposed to stay at home and not work. Now, when you put her in this in the police force, or even in other areas, let me tell you.
Final question, Honorable. We need to wrap this up. I understand. It's just that this morning we're highlighting police, but it is a lot more elsewhere.
Some people
Finally, Honorable. Look, there are Ugandans who think these women's activists, first of all, they are very angry.
Did you call me to attack women activists?
No, it's a question I'm putting to you. No, I need to ask the question.
I don't want it. I have answered it already.
I need to ask this, Honorable.
I have not come here to attack women.
No one is attacking women. We are simply putting questions to you,
You called me because you know women have
attacking.
been abused. No, so why do you bring me these questions to me, which tend to pin down women as if they are doing wrong?
Certainly, because it is related to human rights, but since it is for women that have been, in this case, not treated fairly, we are having women's activists rising up and saying, this is not fair.
Is that wrong? Are they wrong to say that?
And we are saying it's okay, and that's why we're giving you a platform like this one. But I'll tell you why many times you face a lot of resistance as you put forward these messages. There are Ugandans who think that these women are just angry. They look at the man as their enemy, and in this case you're attacking the police chief who is a man, but look, we're having a police spokesperson who is a female. And so one would imagine that maybe this message would reach out a lot more if these women would not see the men as an enemy.
Go and tell those women who see men as their enemy. I, Miriam Matembe, never sees men as my enemy. I see them as my partners in the struggle against backwardness, against injustice, against inequalities, and in fact, I work hand in hand with them to achieve what I want to achieve. Now, if there are women who behave otherwise, call them and ask them. Because when I come here and you start, pinning down women and wanting to undermine their cause and their struggle, I don't take it nicely.
Honorable Dr. Miriam Matembe, it's been a pleasure having you here this morning. Thanks a bunch for joining us. My opinion is coming up. I without a doubt think it's the denigration of the rights of these 4 female police officers who have been recalled from Parliament. Why? Because they're expecting, and we know about many other places of work where these women are not treated nice, they are fired from their workplaces because they're expecting. That is not right. They don't get their maternity leave fully as they should. Some of them, when they get it, when they return to work, somebody has already taken over their jobs. That is not right. That is not fair. Look, at the end of the day, yes, we are having many of the women's activists rising up and they're defending the rights of women in cases such as this and in many others. I hope we can work together on this. As the men, can we work together with the ladies? As the ladies, can we not look at the men as enemies? Can we actually embrace them? Because you see, ultimately, to achieve a common good, to see that the women's rights are respected, the men have got to be fully involved in this. They've got to be seen as partners in this, like Honorable says, not as enemies. And as we keep doing that, we all get better. The rights of women are protected, the rights of men are protected, the rights of children are protected, and Uganda becomes a better country, without a doubt. That's our big story for this morning. Morning at NTV continues shortly.
You're watching Morning at NTV with Simon Kasiate, Mabel Kebirunji, and Brian Mulondo.
This is Africa in 2050. The population will have expanded more than twice the number today. To have better management of the population, we will need to invest in education, invest in health, invest in the economy, and have better governance. Broadcasting live, UNFPA brings you a debate on the future of East Africa's demographic dividend on Friday at 2 p.m. on NTV.
My name is Cuts, aka Mr. Showbiz.
When I'm in Uganda, I only listen to DJ Baby Love.
When you're dancing on the light, girl walk out, your body down no fly, your fingernail them no fear fly. You have a problem with it?
No, I ain't got no problem.
You don't use my mic, man. This is exposed mic. I go deal with you personally.
XFB, it's officially back. Yeah, I'm in this heaty with cats. It's what we do, baby, put UG on the map. Now come my walk, now come my walk, now come my walk, now come my walk, hey.
Tadi Muganda yagala munne kututumuka abanyankole mweyagalidde mu Kampala abajja okulonda mwafuna mu bibanja mu Uganda
I'm that dude, so they come and love it.
You're going to start paying for watching Exposed.
I wasn't born last night. I know these hoes ain't right.
Hey there, Mr. Krabs. Are you ready to party?
I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it, move it.
Wow! Hello, fellow motor enthusiastics.
Oh, Mr. Krabs, isn't there any way for us to return all of them back to normal?
Hey! How'd he do that?
The Red Ranger's a bigger problem than I thought.
It's time to finish this thing up.
What can I do to make them love me again?
What are you drawing, Kitty?
Mega Rangers? Yeah. That's a mega win.
Hello? King Julian, you are truly inspiring. Ow! SpongeBob!
Fantastic.
I'm gonna blow your mind and I'm gonna twist your taste buds. The flavors are already coming together. I can feel them. Very lovely, very appetizing, very healthy. Remember, the way you see it, the way you like it, is the way you get it from my kitchen to your kitchen.
Aro, give me 5 stress, 3 gonorrhea.
Kale muli wano, you think you've brought campasas? Omwana yena sobola gamba super deep. Si miaka jafe.
I'm like, I like my swag too. So what about it? Then she was like, I also like your accent. That village accent. Now.
Kati mwagala mchimbimbili wana kuza kele chili chialu chili okay wale tensanyu fu weneka political tayakana nombozanga nakajawa.
Kati nekambuza mukabete why are you crying? Nekagamba abasajja engeri gye bafulumiza mu lukwago.
I think I'm Big Mitch. Larry Hoover. Put that in Kiprochichi's accent.
I think I'm Big Mitch.
rare hufa.
On the next episode, brought to you by...
At Orange, we know you want to do more on the internet. That's why we bring you happy hour day and night.
La Patrona.
I know you very well. Don't pretend. You're capable of that and more.
I want her out of here now! What is this slut doing here?
Macario, buddy?
Damn traitor.
Understand, Inez. Outside of this place, I can't stand you. You are intolerable.
When did you become a prostitute?
I've never been one. One of these days, that mask of decency your grandmother uses will fall to pieces, and then you'll see all the damage that she's caused. Most of all, your family and your mother.
La Patrona.
You can download movies at the lowest prices and never fast from Orange. Dial *133# to buy a data bundle. Happy hour changes with Orange. Today changes with Orange.
You're watching Morning at NTV with Simon Kassiate, Mabel Kebirunji, and Brian Mulondo.
Thank you for joining us this Friday, the last day of the week, the 4th of July. It is now on to some of your questions and comments. I beg your pardon, to some of your comments regarding the big story. We have Nero Steven saying the uniform, the police women's uniform, should be made elastic. This is because the spokesperson said that they have to wear a tight belt. And we have Nasuna Betty saying she agrees that the uniforms should be changed. It is part of a lady's style. And then Katerega Regina saying Chitufu, big up to Miria Matembe. We also have Evan saying the lady is really good at talking. Ronald saying, but every female honorable strives for that. That is to have a husband who is dignified and is not trampled over. And then we have Johnson Kansime saying, thank you for respecting him. To other messages, we have Miriam Matembe is so principled and a no-nonsense woman, independent and outstanding. I love that with her women's human rights will be achieved. This country needs more women of her kind. And Wanda saying, go and tell those women who see men as their enemies. I see Miriam Matembe telling them that they're not enemies. And thank you so much for your questions there, for your comments. We cross over to Brian, who also has an interesting guest on today for Everyday Life. Hello, Brian.
Morning, Mabel. We're still at the rooftop of the Kampala Serena Hotel. You can join us on your telly, but also online, youtube.com/NTV Uganda/live. Of course, go and catch the other episodes that were missed. And of course, Everyday Life today has a special thing, but that's in a couple of minutes. But something that has caught my attention, the last time I heard this man sing, it's called Maddox Semandasema Timba, was in Nachivubo Stadium about 10 years ago. But he's going to resurrect tonight. How? Helping me tell us about that is Charlotte Nalumansi and Bernard Oluport from 4040. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. Morning.
For the benefit of our viewers who do not know what 4040 is about, quickly tell us why 4040, what have you guys doing, what are you doing at 4040? I see a t-shirt of I built a dome. Quickly tell us about 4040.
Proudly. 4040 stands for 40 Days Over 40 Smiles Foundation. It's a youth-led charity that supports children through education and health. So building a dormitory is one of our most tangible things that you can see, but we've done many other little projects. We completed the dormitory and dedicated it in April.
I was part of the initial things. Mumanja, but I'll come.
It's charity.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was very good to see young people engaged in such things. What other things have you done with 4040?
Well, other than that, we've inspired youth. Yeah, we like to think that it's enough for us to to come up as the young people of this country. We're always blaming the government and making noise and, you know, government to yambe, yada, yada. But this time we're thinking we as the youth can come up and help our children get a better education, the street kids, the orphans, and, you know, kids who are disadvantaged. So as 4040, we've decided to pick out of our pockets, you know, call a few friends, have fun, pick for charity, and, you know, see what we can do for this country.
Right. At first, it was
Five-a-side.
Five-a-side,
yeah.
And I saw some people who are definitely not made for football. Then the building of a dome.
Yeah.
And now I've just this thing has gone viral on Twitter. And
What
Facebook.
is that? What is that?
Croc and Rhyme. I do not know how to tweet as Bibi Rukwenje or as B-Wall or as Esther Perez. Like you guys find anything in everything to croak and rhyme.
Yeah.
So I think I first tweeted at the beginning of the campaign, and now I'm tweeting today. But there's a way you guys work these concepts. But help me understand, what is croak and rhyme about?
Well, for starters, croak and rhyme is a fun event. We've got music, we've got art, we've got dance, you know, we've got poetry, and it's for a good cause. So we've gathered a number of huge artists, a number of big artists. Proceeds from the event are going towards helping education of children at Agape Children's Home, that's in Chibuli. So Croak and Rhyme basically is a concept for us to get together, have fun while doing charity.
Why Croak and Rhyme? Because the first time I had croak, I was are we going to do some crocodiles or frogs? What's happening?
Not everyone can sing, but they like to sing, and we can't throw them off. So come have fun, being yourself. You don't have to be a recording artist. Youth like to have fun, but they can have fun while doing something good. So it's youth being the change they want to see, croaking, rhyming, doing their thing, at the same time doing charity.
And the croaking, well, like you know how a frog does its thing, it's the croaking, and then the rhyming is the smart one, which is not you and me, probably some other people.
So the croak is for us.
That's for us.
Upcoming artists from our bathrooms.
I'm having rhyming.
And the rhyme. There's a host of artists, and one that caught my attention was Maddox Semanda Sematimba. Tell us about the other artists that we're going to have.
Oh, we have Maddox Sematimba, we have Sima, we have Pragmo, we have Michael Chitanda, we have Kwela, we have Irene Tale, we have Nava, we have Rionga, we have Benezeri.
Wow. Irene,
it's a huge lineup. We have
everyone,
poets,
really.
Jason Tare,
What do I need
10K,
to be there?
10K. If you're going to fast at the event, 10K will be enough.
At 6 p.m. we are breaking our fast.
Oh, that's good news. So come with 10K, come with something bonus, probably buy a drink, buy an eat, buy some merchandise. We've got t-shirts, we've got wristbands, we've got a couple of things on display, and come and have a good time. Bring a neighbor, bring a friend, bring an ex-girlfriend, whatever. Just,
bring an intending, everything.
Those who have suspects.
It's good for a first date because the ice is broken.
Exactly.
So it's good.
All right, tonight at the National Museum, Uganda Museum, 10,000 shillings, 40-40. These guys, I've never seen young people that use social media for positive change. So join them. You can go to 4040 on Twitter and Facebook also.
Exactly. 40 Days of 40 Smiles Foundation.
All right, and get more details of that. And we'll see you guys at 6 p.m. I'll definitely be there. Be there. Mabel, the weekend is here. Obviously, I'm going to be there. Will you join us as we croak and rhyme? Some of us have fantastic voices in our bathrooms.
Thank you very much, Bran. I will try to croak. I will try to rhyme. I've never thought of myself as a very, poetic person. But I think with time, I am getting more poetic and more creative and everything. So anyway, that was an interview we had with Croak and Rhyme. Everyday Life will be coming up right after this break. Okay, we do not have that break. But anyway, on to some of your messages on Facebook here. We have someone is saying, really, I wish. Okay, this is a picture that we had of Brian. I think last Friday someone came and drew Brian here, and it was quite an interesting picture. And someone saying here, really, thanks for adding it onto the page. Someone saying here, Ariho Dens, I really love your swag. We have Efe Joseph saying, I think he likes the show, it looks good. And someone is asking if I am... Tadeo Tink Achali asking if I am their tribe mate. Well, I'm not too sure what tribe you are. And more of you just saying good morning and looking forward to the weekend. And remember, if you haven't yet liked our Facebook page, please go and do it. Join the family of over 22,000 people who are following us on Facebook, as well as Twitter. We have about 10,000 at morning at NTV. And yeah, we will always get back to your tweets. And 6565 is the text line if you have any message that you'd like to give us on how we can make the show better, on what you would like, or if you'd like to feature on the show, if there's something you have that you feel that probably is something you'd like other people to know, and it would be good for you to share it with us here. Earlier, we had Miriam Matembe talking about women's rights, and this was in regard to the story of the 4 police women who were actually recalled because they were pregnant. They had been stationed at Parliament and they were recalled because of their situation. And apparently, the belts couldn't fit them anymore, and probably they wouldn't be able to run if the need arose. Continue sending in your questions and comments, feedback on Facebook as well as Twitter, or sending us a message on 6565. Brian is standing by, and we will be crossing over to Brian. Hello, Brian, once again. Good morning, Brian.
You are a lover of dogs. I do not love dogs a lot, and definitely don't love cats. But maybe by the end of this show, I'll have learned 1 or 2 things. We are going to be looking at how you can train a dog and what dog is suitable for your home. Coming up on Everyday Life. Joining us this morning is Nick. Good morning, Nick.
Morning to you.
And
Xavier.
Xavier.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning. Sir.
And I see our friend, what's his name?
Geisha.
Sorry?
Geisha.
Geisha?
Like the soap, actually.
Like Geisha soap?
A Japanese lady.
Wow, he's very calm.
Yeah, she, actually.
She?
Yeah, it's a girl.
All right. Nick.
Yes.
You are the coordinator of the Uganda's Ultimate Dog Show. We'll talk about that later. But why did you think of a dog show?
Well, I thought we were missing something that we've grown up with. And the purpose or the reason for bringing up the dog show is to find harmony between the human beings and animal welfare. And ever since then, the introduction of a dog show, we've seen a lot of good change, and people have passionately owned dogs from that point on.
Right. I hear German Shepherds, all these different, like German Shepherd is really the only dog I know.
It's the most common dog.
It's the most common dog.
Yes.
Tell us about the other types of dogs that people...
She's a Doberman.
A what?
A Doberman. She's actually also a German dog.
Okay.
Crazy enough, there is a lot of good breeds that are coming from Germany. We'll mention a couple of them. Great Dane, we have a Bull Mastiff, we have a Bull Bells, we have Labradors, we have Golden Retrievers. There's about 450 breeds. But the most common, we have a St. Bernards. People own good dogs.
What is the culture in Uganda? Do people actually love dogs here?
In Uganda, people do love dogs. But it was in a silent way until the dog show came out, and that's when people started showing off what they own in terms of the dog species.
Right.
Yes.
And now I get it. Okay, maybe after this show I'll start thinking about getting
I am very sure you will.
I hope.
You will.
But how do I start training a dog? Like I see people saying, as like Geisha stand. and the thing just stands, or geisha, go away, and it goes away. What are the basics? I don't know if you practice with
There is what they call the old-fashioned way of training dogs, which is jack the dog on the leash and ask him to, like most of the time what people do in Uganda here. But the best way of training a dog is actually training a dog with what we call positive reinforcement, which is a bit of a technical word, but it's just give the dog something for what he's doing. So motivate the dog with a ball or with a piece of chicken leg and tell him sit, and when he sits, you give him. So he learns quickly that if I do what I must do, I'll get rewarded, and that's it. He will do 100 tricks for you like that. It's very simple.
So I don't. Are you going to practice something? You
should make a small demonstration.
We could do a small demo.
Unfortunately, I went running out from home this morning and I didn't go with my ball. So she will do what I'm asking her to do just because she knows.
As a simple obedience discipline, which does not require a lot of space.
Yeah,
you need some space.
2 meters, I think.
Okay, we can
no problem.
That.
It's okay if the dog stands here and I'm there? Yeah? Okay, so stay, sit. Good girl. Okay, stay. You see, she's very stressed because she's in a new environment.
Okay.
So I'll ask her to go down, stay, sit, get down, down, and stay, stay there. Yeah. So any dog is able to learn that. Yeah, as long as you do it gently, and if you start in a young age, and as he said, if you are in an environment that the dog is used to and the dog is well trained, he will stay there for an hour. No problem.
Wow.
Yeah. So now I can ask her to come to me. Yeah.
Even more than an hour.
Yeah. That's a good girl. Sit. All right. There you go. So that is the basic commands. I'm not going to ask her to do much more than that today. She can actually speak also if I ask her to speak, but this morning she's very shy.
She can speak.
She can speak.
I'd love to see that. Try and.
Can you go behind the camera, Geisha? Sit. Can you sit? Sit. Stay. All right. Make a noise. Speak. 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 Good girl. Okay, there we go.
Wow.
Okay, that will do. Come here, girl. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here.
Oh.
Okay. Very good. You know, we normally use this word speak when the dog has detected somebody that is not supposed to be there to scare that person. So that's what she's been doing because my colleague was kind of teasing her.
Okay.
So I asked her to speak and she responded. So now she was going to bite him actually.
Wow. So what
she's
do
a guard dog. She's trained to guard, to attack. Yeah. That's what she does.
Because I was going to ask you that, you know, some dogs are... Some people have a way of looking after dogs. They'll keep them in kennels like the whole day.
Cages.
Yes, and at night, the dog comes out and it's a beast, literally a beast.
He's actually a beast, but if you know dogs, this kind of dogs, I can enter the gate, I clap in my hands and he goes back in his kennel. Because he's not been facing these kind of situations before. You see, the best guard dog is actually the dog that grows in the family, in the compound, knowing everyone. You actually have to take him for walks outside, so he knows goats, cows, chicken, and everything. Then you are going to have a dog that is going to be intelligent enough to understand that this is a bad person and this is a good person. The dog you lock all the time in the kennels, when you open for it, everybody has to be locked in the house, the family itself. So if a kid makes a mistake of going out, he gets chewed. So that's not the best guard dog. The best guard dog is actually an intelligent dog that is used to the environment and he will react when it's time to.
Wow.
That's
the dog show is coming up.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Well, the event is scheduled for Sunday the 6th, which is a day or two from now. And it's going to be held at Chadondo, which is opposite Lugogo ShopRite. Just to mention a little bit about the show is we are trying to make the people understand that we own a lot of species that we spend a lot of money on because they are part of our family. And in that manner, we want people to understand or to look after the pet animal in a different way. Not the usual, lock them up and feed them, walk them. We would want the dog to be as free as anybody else in the family. Let the dog roam in the compound, and
it's very important.
That is the reason we're doing that. Right. Just to bring about some of the highlights of the show, we are hosting, or we are working in conjunction with the Uganda Police, which is also going to be showcasing their intelligent dogs, which is the working dog. When I say the working dog is because a dog is trained to help make your work easier, where a person or a human being cannot be able to achieve. We have explosive detection, we have tracking, we have narcotics. Dogs have been trained to do that, what you can't do, and myself. So we expect to see even the prisons has a canine unit, which they're going to be showcasing.
That's good.
So I believe with that, it's going to be an eye-opener that we can use the dog for homeland security, which is, I think, a key factor as to why we are holding this show for this year. And with that, I'm sure people will embrace the dog much, much better.
I see lots of these tiny, they're called, you call them poodles?
We call them Maltese poodles. Actually, I call them Uganda fluffy terriers because there have been crosses of so many white breeds. Huh? And they will end up coming out as a breed one day because they all look alike.
Someone here is asking, what food do you recommend for a German Shepherd?
A German Shepherd, a Doberman, a medium-sized dog, we're going to call it like that. The best food is some kind of food that is actually sold. It's packed food for dogs. It's special food for dogs. They call them pellets. You can buy them at ShopRite, Game, and some other places. If you can afford it, it's sometimes a bit expensive, but it's the best because it has all the nutrients inside, vitamins, proteins, everything. It's complete. You just put it in a plate. There's no cooking. Just put water next to it and the dogs feed on that and it's perfect.
Right.
That's the best food. If you cannot afford that, there's other ways you can also cook natural food. Like some
mincemeat,
carrots and cabbage and mincemeat with some rice. With rice mukene is very good. Yeah.
Wow.
They need protein, carbohydrates, like us, but mostly proteins. Yeah. They are carnivores and they need a lot of proteins and fats. Yeah.
What time does the event start? Do I need to pay to get in?
Yes, the event starts at 10 a.m. and during that period we'll be doing registration of the people competing for the various disciplines. If the dog is participating, the dog will be entitled to pay a fee, a participation fee, which is 50,000. For the people, adults will be paying 20, the kids will be paying 10,000. However, if you are only going to bring your dog because it's a dog's day out, and you only want the dog to be around people and different dog species, that does not pay. But you are allowed to come in.
Right.
Although we have put certain measures in place for people not to just bring any type of dog. And the reason
some dogs are really sick.
Some dogs are sick.
Wild.
And you see, that's why I'm very, because you see there's few dogs that are saying one day here, they look so sick that every time I see them I want to kill them.
No, but you know what? There's a serious issue. It's a point you're making. Some people have started doing that. We call them the USPCA here, but they are very small and there are so many dogs in Uganda. But at least they are doing something. But if we could start also maybe talking of how to help people do their own things, you know, like I used to grab dogs like this in the street when I was young with my friends, and we used to smear them with engine oil, the black engine oil, and the hair would grow back within 3 weeks.
Wow.
But those are things people don't know. It might not be the best thing to do, but you can save a dog from dying from mange and stuff like that because they can. Some of them get completely naked. You see, they lose all the hair. They look like they are 20 years old and they scratch all the time. It's very uncomfortable. You dip the dog in engine oil and 3 weeks later, all the hair is back. Those are tricks people should be knowing, you know.
Well, just to add on, we are going to have a veterinary doctor to make sure that any dog, and all the dogs that come into the showground, have a card, an immunization card, which shows the dog has been immunized of rabies and any other diseases that might be with the dogs.
That's nice.
And for the aggressive dogs, policy is simple. Everybody should have their dogs on leashes to avoid the dog attacking anyone or even attacking another dog.
Yeah.
Those cases are very rare because, one, as people come in, we have a team that keeps advising people on a general overview, keep your dog on the leash.
Yes.
And if the dog does not have the proper leash, we will give you a leash, which is a choke chain. A choke chain tends to tame a dog quicker than what Geisha has, because that's just a collar. the choke chain tends to awaken the pain to realize that what he's doing is wrong. So they immediately come down.
Wow. Tomorrow, that's Sunday.
Sunday
at Chadon Rugby Grounds. You can go to the Uganda's Ultimate Dog Show and get some tips on how to look after your dogs. I personally don't like dogs because you, the owners, do not know how to take care of them. They're either very ugly, very sick, or very
wild,
you know? Yeah. And I watched a video recently from Fox TV about a dog that attacked a child at the beach, and those are things that we don't want. So go and learn how to take care of your dogs. And you'll get more details of that also on our Facebook page and Twitter. And also you can send us a text or SMS 6565 to get more details. Now, of course, Brian Tuka is standing by this morning to tell us about the World Cup, which is resuming today. I'll be looking at the details of who is facing who in the quarterfinals and, of course, any other sport that's happening this weekend. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
You're watching Morning at NTV with Simon Kasiate, Mabel Kebirunji, and Brian Mulondo.
Bwana Yesu akugamba akomawo.
Teka ng'omulimu gweweru. 2 comes your way at 10 p.m. hosted by the most high-rated hosts, Frank.
Bawala bagamba tishe twagala okufungirwa naye baggayo abo tebali serious.
We're confident this will be a smooth ride into our English news bulletin.
Nembala yirire. You are candidates for Hague. Katukomewo tano.
Mr. Krabs, are you ready to party?
I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it, move it.
Wow! Hello, fellow motor enthusiastics.
Oh, Mr. Krabs, isn't there any way for us to return all of them back to normal?
Hey! How'd he do that? The Red Ranger's a bigger problem than I thought.
It's time to finish this thing up.
What can I do to make them love me again?
What are you drawing, Kitty?
Mega Rangers? That's a mega win!
Hello? King Julian, you are truly inspiring. Ow!
SpongeBob! Fantastic!
Health in Wellness
is brought to you by Caring Tech Strength, Panadol Advance. When minutes matter, take Panadol Advance. Panadol Advance is a fast pain reliever with Optizop technology. Caring Tech Strength. Panadol Advance.
I'm going to blow your mind and I'm going to twist your taste buds. The flavors are already coming together. I can feel them. Very lovely, very appetizing, very healthy. Remember, the way you see it, the way you like it, is the way you get it from my kitchen to your kitchen.
On the next episode, brought to you by...
At Orange, we know you want to do more on the internet. That's why we bring you happy hour day and night.
Welcome to Denmark.
NTV Kona bane mwebale nnyo mwebalire ddala okukwagaliza ebirungi. Tuli live okuva Copenhagen, Denmark. mwebale kutuwangule banenge tuziwangulira ddala tugamba yes kyakabi nyine kuko tutalo tina
nze Moses Matovu owa Frigo Band
ng'atunyumiza emboozi entuufu ddala mu ngeri y'emu katubagamba nti ekisibo kitambula bulungi naye ng'era olwokutta tugenda kwa live okuva e Copenhagen Denmark ssaawa 4 n'ekitundu koona ne NTV Miles Romney.
You can download movies at the lowest prices and never fast from Orange. Dial *133# to buy a data bundle. Happy hour changes with Orange. Today changes with Orange.
Thank you so much for staying with us up to this time. And before the break, we had representatives from Uganda's Ultimate Dog Show that is going to happen on Sunday. And we apologize for any sound problems that you might be having. It's very windy up here. It's probably Geisha has caused that. Now, one thing that has caught my attention, that the top dog on Sunday is going to walk away with a 20 decimal land title deed.
Is it going to build itself a kennel?
No, like, man, if you're the owner of that dog,
Exactly.
Free land.
I know, and that's a lot of land. But where exactly? Does that also matter?
In Mukono, courtesy of Jomai Property Consultants, and the first runner-up gets 1 year's food and grooming courtesy of Uganda's Ultimate Dog Show Limited. And actually one of the world's biggest dog companies, Royal Canine. Can you imagine that? So,
yeah, no.
I think I'll go and get a dog.
See, some of these things, you know, sound too Western. Given how we are used to the other dogs that you have to chase with stones and stuff like that. So,
you know, when
it's good that actually a dog can earn you some good stuff.
Yeah.
We still have a goat show at Munyonyo, I remember.
The goat
Royal
race.
Ascot something.
It's still on, right?
It's still there.
I
think we should do a sheep show.
I'm sorry, but that goat
a cow.
race.
That is more.
I'm sorry, but that goat race or whatever it is, absolute garbage. I don't find any sense in it.
Okay. Brian Tuka, you're not an animal person. I think we should do a sheep show. Or a chicken show.
Chicken or cow.
Guys have been knocked out of their parts.
Uganda's ultimate chicken show.
Those are things that resonate more with Ugandans as opposed to dogs. Dogs are considered probably high class.
They are man's best friend.
Yes, it is man's best friend.
Yes.
Anyway.
Well, I joined them, Chadron Rugby Club, on Sunday. Now the quarterfinals, Brian Tuka, starting.
Yeah.
Who is playing who today?
To start with, of course, it's been a long 2 days for those who've been watching the World Cup.
I know, like, it's been
football,
dry.
I know. 2 days without football, actually. Some people actually even thought there was still football. Of course, you know who those are. The ladies thinking, okay, I don't need to ask, I think there's football and stuff like that. Kumbe the last two. So if anyone has been telling you, okay, replays, that makes a lot of sense. But anyways, quarter-final action is back. Huge games today. France opens up with Germany at 7 o'clock. Later on in the night, it will be Brazil up against Colombia, South American derby. That should be an interesting game. France up against Germany, of course, both deserve to be where they are right now in the quarterfinals. I think while we've been praising people playing well defensively at the World Cup, there could be one or two issues with the big teams because that's not what they are known for most of the times. We always, or most of the time, talk about the offensive abilities rather than the defensive abilities. But I think they will come into play today because when you look at France, Karim Benzema, Olivier Giroud, Paul Pogba, if he starts, Mathieu Valbuena, are players that can hurt you if you're not well organized in defense. On the other side, Thomas Muller, Mario Götze, Mesut Ozil, best of Schweinsteiger himself, if he started with Toni Kroos, our players also can hurt you. So I think for me, the key is not going to be going forward because they've been doing well. They've scored a couple of goals. The key is going to be who will stop the other better. And when you look at both sides, I think the French have been doing quite, I think, okay for me because even you look at the abilities of their defenders. Varane and then, of course, Aloy Koscielny, if he starts, that's if Mohamed Sakho is not yet back, which I highly doubt will be back. And, of course, Patrice Evra, very experienced left back and very good player. And also at right back, they've been using the Newcastle right back, Mathieu Debuchy. I think if you looked at the four, for me, they have better abilities than the defense of the Germans, where we see Boateng, Matt Samuels is not going to be available. I think he's still injured. Then Mertesacker. First of all, if the French go fast, the pace will have problems. These guys will have problems stopping the French. So that's going to be key.
Who is this Pogba guy?
Paul Pogba.
Pogba.
Yeah, an African. Actually, his brothers play for Guinea.
Wow.
But he plays for France. But he was United, of course, can we say born or bred, but of course picked up by United as a young boy, groomed, but he didn't get enough playing time. He felt it was his time to play. Sir Alex Ferguson was playing patient with him. He didn't want to know about it. He went to Juventus, and what the last 2 seasons he's had. Absolute brilliant football he's played. And now he's playing for the national team, and he's one of their key guys. Very good going forward, but of course can also give you defensive cover if you play with numbers. But I think most importantly, is the man, for example, in that game against Nigeria, everything for France, almost in the middle, was going through Paul Pogba. And it will be key to unlock the midfield for Germany, and also maybe the defense. So it's going to be very important, I think, for the French to play with pace, Bada Boateng, Mertesacker, or Hoveds, or whoever will play at right back. And I think that's where the French could have an advantage over the Germans. But don't rule out these German guys, because they know exactly how to score goals. Thomas Muller has not scored 4 goals for nothing. So there's a reason why he's playing in there. They've got someone to call on to from the bench in Miroslav Klose. So that's going to be key. But for me, I think whoever will turn out best defensively will win the contest tonight.
Okay, we have Brazil and Colombia on the other quarterfinal. Now, Brazil they have been going through, but they haven't really met people's expectations. Colombia have been brilliant. What role does form have to play in this?
First of all, I don't think you have to be very good to win a tournament like the World Cup. Just like the Greeks won the Euro, I think, 2006.
Were they just lucky all through?
2006.
I think
2004,
they played well during
I don't think they did.
They were lucky?
They had, I don't know how many 1-1-0s. If they scored you first, bye-bye. Actually, the referee should have finished the games. Because whoever they scored first, shop closed, game ends like that. So, I don't think they were the best team at the Euros, but I think they were the best in terms of winning the championship. That's the same thing with Brazil. They've not looked like the Brazil. We are accustomed to seeing Brazil win and win in style. They've not done it. So that's been the biggest concern. But apart from winning without style, they've not been convincing, actually. You know, it's one thing to play and win with style. It's another winning unconvincingly, which Brazil have done. They've struggled going forward. I don't think they've been as bad as defensively as they've been going forward, because it's been about Neymar, practically. Without Neymar doing anything, they've not done anything. They had to go to penalties against Chile. Actually, they were very lucky because that crossbar that Penela hit the Chilean striker
before the game ended.
He could have probably had about 10 people fainting, or rather dying even. Because in 1950 there were a couple that died when Gigi actually scored the winning goal for Uruguay. So it will be key, actually, I think, today for Brazil to try and do something. Colombia have been the best team, one of the best teams actually at the World Cup. If you name the top 3, I think Colombia will go through, or will be among the top 3. They've had one of the best players at the tournament, is James Rodriguez. Of course, James, anyone who is called James henceforth, you can call them James, because the Colombians are, actually all of them love Christian names, but they want to pronounce them in their language.
And they giving him a little too much hype.
I mean, it's not too much
hype. Does
hype.
he deserve the hype?
Listen, Brian.
I went back and watched the games that he played. Okay, I'm like, any player can do what he did.
No, first of all, the goal is scored, not any player can. There are a couple of goals I would have scored that have been scored by Thomas Muller and everyone. But that one of James Rodriguez, the ease with which he puts the ball on the chest and takes it straight away, that was sheer class for me.
But players in the past have done that.
Exactly. But listen, the last 2 World Cups, the top scorers have finished 5 goals. Dude has already got 5. And he's just on the quarterfinals.
And they're still playing.
And they're still playing. You never know what happens tonight. But I think Brazil will rise up to the question. I think I don't see them wanting to be eliminated at the quarterfinal stage, because the World Cup itself will lose 1 or 2 spice in it if the hosts are not playing. Forget about 2010 in South Africa, where Africans, of course, so many of us would have loved to see the superstars coming. The Brazilians by careless about who's still remaining. But I think for me, they might just have enough, because while Colombia have been convincing, they've not yet faced a tough test, probably like Brazil. Brazil might have been unconvincing so far, but I think they've got Neymar, they've got Oscar, they've got Willian if he came on. They've got a couple of other players who might not be that good. Even Hal can give you a lot of problems with his energy. So I think while Colombia have been convincing, they've not yet faced the real test. And I think the real test is going to be tonight against Brazil. But Brazil have got to be well aware of how good the Colombians have been. Cuadrado, James Rodriguez, going at them. Defensively, I think today they have to be way up there. And they should stop crying when they are singing their national anthems.
Oh, Brazil.
Thiago Silva and the rest of the guys. Stop telling us about their problems. I was on the bed, I was bedridden 6 months when I had tuberculosis. Give me a break. You play football.
You were saying it's a match, some kind of war cry. But anyway, the Belgians and the Dutch. Now, the Dutch started with a lot of fire, I remember, against the game of Spain. But it's like they struggled to score goals later on.
Yeah.
Now, they meet Belgium.
No, actually, they meet Costa Rica. I think one of you is supporting
Hey, we're supporting Costa Rica. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Belgium plays Argentina later. Yeah. No, that's tomorrow. Because Belgium opens, I think, with Argentina at 7 o'clock. Then the Dutch play against Costa Rica at 11 p.m.
Our
later
team.
in the night. Yeah.
I'm rooting for Costa Rica.
Yeah, but I'm sorry. I think that's the farthest they've gone. I don't see them going past the Dutch. But while we talk about, of course, the Dutch starting with one and stuff like that, I think it's normal, norm in sport. The levels where you start, of course, are different from the levels where you meet people. I think when you get to the quarterfinals, you meet tough opposition because there's a reason why the person you've met at the quarterfinals has gotten there.
Yeah.
And I think that was also been key. The round of 16 was tougher than the group stage for the Dutch because they played Mexico. And Mexico are very convincing you the group stages. And they threw, I think, almost everyone behind the ball. And for teams that love playing, it's always going to be tough to break down about 9-10 people when it's about 5 people going at them. So I think that's why it's been a little bit of a trick. But I think they've done the job. They beat up on the Mexicans without going to penalties. The late penalty won by Ian Robben. Some people want to regard it as a dive. I don't think it was a dive. I think it's a foul. Don't foul someone in the box, converted by Jan Klaas Huntelaar. Now they come up against the surprise package of the tournament in Costa Rica. I think for me, first of all, whatever Costa Rica did after the group stage was a bonus. In fact, after whatever they did after beating up on Uruguay 3-1 was a bonus. So whatever they are into excesses now, I don't think anybody will complain if Costa Rica knocked out. And the Dutch, I think, for me,
I would complain.
Okay, maybe you would because they fight. But I think they will have. There's going to be a lot of stuff and a lot of attack and a lot of barrage from world-class players, from Wesley Sneijder, Robin van Persie, Ian Robben. For me, who's in probably the second best player at the tournament so far. That's going to be tough for the Costa Ricans to stop. But on the other side, the Dutch have got to realize that we have to be patient like they were against Mexico. The Costa Ricans, I can guarantee you, will throw almost everyone behind the ball. Yeah. When the Dutch are coming at them, that's tough to break down. But on the other side, they can be quite fast breaking on the counter. That's something the Dutch have got to be very aware of. Good enough for them. They've got a couple of young players in there, so they should be able to match the pace. The other game, of course, is Argentina-Belgium. That's a tough one. And that's a game we've been talking about today, not because of Belgium winning, but because of the United States are probably putting up a good show. Tim Howard had Barack Obama to call Kid Dempsey and Tim Howard. As well. The fans have been calling for, was it one of the U.S. former presidents? I think I've forgotten. One of the airports, I think Kennedy, yeah. Is it Kennedy?
JFK.
I think it must be JFK.
You can't change the name.
They want it to be changed to Tim Howard. A couple of fans. Of course, that's allowed in the USA. I think
petition,
it's called
they
people
need to
sign something. Yeah,
they need to sign about 200,000 signatures.
Something like that. Then they can change it. And it's been, Barack was telling him how we should be, ready for the people when he comes back home. Maybe he cuts off his beard for people not to get to know that it's him. But I think for Belgium, for me, they put up a good show. Much as people have been saying, we expected better. But everyone that's played against the Belgians, they've been putting 1,000 bodies behind the ball. It's tough to break down. But even then, they've been creating chances. And for me, it's very important to create chances in football game. Converting them is another issue. But first create them, then we can talk about the conversion. Yeah. Because before you convert, you've got to first create. And I think against the Argentines, who will not be putting everyone behind that ball, the Belgians will have a lot of spaces to utilize. Now, for the Argentines, it's simple. You cannot be allowing, or you cannot be having only Messi playing. Angel Di Maria has got to step up. Higuain has got to step up. Ezekiel Lavezzi, if he plays, has got to step up. Everyone in that team has got to step up to help Messi if you're going to have a chance against the Belgians. Actually, if you ask me, I tip the Belgians to probably surprise 1 or 2 people against the Argentines for me.
Wow.
Because they have Eden Hazard, who is their best player, but I don't think he's played the best football at the World Cup for them. I think Kevin De Bruyne, for me, has been Belgians' best player. Lukaku looked a much and better player against the Americans, so wait and see what happens from there. But also, my worry for them is if the Argentines are coming at them, because their fullbacks are a little slow. Now, if Angel Di Maria is coming at you, Higuain, who are quite fast. If they're coming at you, there could be problems for the Belgians. So I think the best way for them is throwing probably also bodies when the Argentines are coming at them, because Fellaini and Witsel are not the best of defensive players to protect the back four. But it should be very interesting games over the weekend. Quarterfinals, we are into the real business of the World Cup now.
Let's talk some local sport, which we've neglected for a long time because of the World Cup. Champion City Oilers face high-flying Falcons. What do you think is going to happen? It should be an because City Oilers are on roller.
Yeah, I know, and the defending champions for reason. For the first time, we had a team that came from the lower division into the first and win the championship. That was a huge feat. No wonder they were Team of the Year, voted by us, the Uganda Sports Press Association. Yeah, so and they deserved it. There's a reason why they did. Those are things we underlook in Uganda because we don't know what it means for you to come from the lower league. And if it was abroad, where we follow all these things on the wire, we would be talking about how huge a feat it is. But anyways, it is, I think, here, Falcons, for me, have been the best team in the league. Even when they lost two of their best players in Philip Ameni and Dula, every team that has come, especially the lower sides for me, they beat the name up convincingly. While Power and all the other teams that we would want to think are outside the top 4 or the top 5 have been struggling to beat up on lower teams, Falcons have come and cleared them. Now today, of course, is the other big test. They lost to Power in one of their biggest games, and it was a very narrow win, I think, for Power. They put up a good show, Falcons. Today, yet again, they faced the best team in the country in City Oil. Can they match them? They're going to be one or two issues. Starting 5, they could have a chance because any team that has got Stephen Omondi, so many of us regard him as the best Ugandan basketballer ever. Yeah. When you have Cyrus Sivile, a fighter, very good player, if he uses his head most of the time. Saji Kabang, very good power forward. And of course, they've got one guy who came here, I think, for charity work, but he's going to be around for some time. He's American, and he's playing for them. They could match them probably for the first fight. Now, the difference is going to be what all of them or what the two teams can pick off the bench, which City will have in plenty, because they can afford to start Ben Komakech on the bench. They could start to probably even start Jeff on the bench, and they call up on those guys. It's not a different story. Right. But they have got to face players like Kame Kabange, Jimmy Enabu, the fastest player in the league, I think, and of course Ben Komakech. It should be an interesting game because there have been a couple of shocks. For example, like Wednesday, Power were beaten by Charging Rhinos. Charging Rhinos who put up a fantastic show. Must have finished 70-64, the game. This one, I would not entirely be a shock or big surprise, but it would be a little upset maybe because Falcons seem weaker than they were last season. City Hall are the team to beat this season.
Yeah, I don't know if we have time for tennis, but Sharapova is out.
No, Sharapova actually was knocked out earlier in the quarterfinals. Actually, we do know now who's going to play in the finals. Eugene Bouchard, the girl from the first Canadian, Wimbledon finals, and then we'll be up against Petra Kvitova. Petra Kvitova beat up on Safarova, while Eugene Bouchard beat up on Simona Halep. Both won in straight sets. 7-6 and I think 6-2 for Kvitova, while Eugene, I think, must have won in 6-4 and I think 6-2 or something. So it should be an interesting one. Very young girls. The problem I have with these ladies is that the consistency is not there. Yeah. That's why I've been impressed with Eugene Bouchard, actually. A colleague of mine was telling me about him. I didn't care less to know because I was thinking, okay, all of them start on fire in a couple of 2-3 years, they're gone. But Eugene Bouchard has made actually the semi-finals from Australia to France, actually now to Wimbledon to the finals. And maybe even the US Open, that will be closer to home, but the Canadians don't say eye to eye with Americans. They don't care. They actually will be going up. Well,
at least he's been consistent. He's appeared in every...
Yeah, actually semi-finals. Maybe for the men today, Novak Djokovic faces Miron, and then... sorry, actually, Novak Djokovic faces Dimitrov, the guy who beat up on...
that's going to be a crack. That's going to be...
Yeah, exactly. And then Djokovic, of course, faces Miron, I think, Ronic.
Right.
In the semi-finals.
Brian Tuka, Monday, goes to Club Silk.
Yeah.
To bring you a sports
exactly. There's nothing. And last Monday I saw someone who went at the bar thinking, the club was open. I looked at the man and didn't get on Monday. Guys are stressed, man. There's a lot of stress.
At 1:30, Ismail Umasi and Alan will be here with Omumuli. And of course, head over to our Facebook page, Morning at NTV, and get more of those updates, World Cup, City Oilers, Sebu Guzi, all that stuff. You can get it there. Before we leave you, your African proverb. Guys are stressed. When a man thinks he's too big or tall, it only takes a small thing to bring him down.
Are they talking physics now? Law of gravity? The shorter, the higher. The taller, the lower. Isn't that shocking?
When a man thinks he's too big or
the Spaniards, for example, I don't think they saw that.
What goes up must come down.
I think that should be talk about humility. It's always important to stay humble in whatever you've achieved as a person. Then because it takes only a second for you, because they say it's easy to get to the top, but for you to maintain it. And one of the, I think, key attributes for people who stayed up there is being humble. Very humble people, I think, achieve
Is
a lot.
Mugabe humble?
Which
Robert Mugabe.
Mugabe is a very arrogant guy.
But he's there.
But at the same time, I think while we say he's arrogant, he's a very brave fella. But at the same time, he can be useless. I mean, that guy is a tough fella. Just white, killer for everything. Mugabe is a tough guy to describe. Can be brave, arrogant, useless, stupid. Everything is Mugabe. But he's an African nationalist, so we'll go with it.
The point of this African proverb is humility, okay? Because what goes up must come down. That is how life is. You can't do anything about that. So check yourself this morning in case you are defying nature. It's going to be a fantastic weekend. Of course, reminding you the dog show is on 40/40 tonight. Maddox Sematimba is going to sing.
Is it at 40/40?
Yeah.
I regard him as the best Ugandan musician.
The best.
I'm
going to 40/40 to watch him.
Top talent.
And
Top talent.
of course, NTV will also be coming to you live from Rwanda, marking independence. There we'll be getting more details of when we shall be telecasting live from Rwanda. Of course, we are turning on your world. Look out for other programs, life stories, Tuwaye, which has changed the time to 10 p.m. on Saturday night, and of course, Corner tonight with Miles Ramiti. For the rest of the crew here, our Director of the Week, and of course, Corner is going to be live from Denmark. Man, we are turning on your world.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, man.
Ramiti is in
Ramiti is a Musama, man.
So I guess today, for all of you who have been watching Corner today, it will be in English.
What language will he be speaking?
It will be in English. So today it will be in English.
Okay, bye-bye.
You're watching Morning at NTV with Simon Kasiate, Mabel Kebirunji, and Brian Mulondo.